So this is kind of perfect. This might be just a good little pre-show topic. I have this real Ghostbusters food, and to anyone who knows, real Ghostbusters is like a 30-year-old show, or like 26 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So even when I bought this in like the late 90s, this had to have been past its due, like past its prime, right? Like no one should have eaten this ever by the time. So I bought it because it was just like, hey, God's like Ghostbusters merchandise, cool. And I just kind of kept it with those movies and stuff on a shelf for a while. And now at a point, it's just like, well, this is like just botulism in a can. Like this is like it's not expanding or anything. It might actually be fine because preservatives, but I don't know what to do. Like I just keep it.
Don't eat it.
Oh, I'm never gonna eat it. Actually, I'm just noticing it probably again. It says no preservatives added in a little box under Egon, so that's probably a bad indicator too. If this was ever opened, who knows what would happen. So yeah, oh, 86 is when the TV show came out, so I'm imagining the promotional food was shortly thereafter. Oh, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I don't know how to get rid of it now, and I just kind of I guess I'll just keep it.
You just gotta hold it just in case.
Yeah, I'll put
Yeah.
it in a fallout shelter or something sometime, and be like, when was this built? It must have been the 80s, and I'll just throw them off.
You
The
just
time
know
detectives.
you just know that there's some crazy collector out there that like you could put it up in 10 years and they'll be like, "Oh my god, $500. It's yours." It's like,
If
"Yeah, okay."
if anyone out there wants that, sure, like I will provide. Like I'm just a custodian for it. I'm just keeping it safe
Oh.
for that
Oh, they're
future
asking
collector.
what we're telling you not to eat or whatever
Oh yeah.
because I was changing over when you showed it.
So what you shouldn't eat is 25-plus-year-olds real Ghostbusters, I guess alphagetti type stuff, pasta shapes in tomato sauce. Don't eat it. If you find a can of this just sitting around, give it to me and I'll add it to the collection, and then I'll have more.
I think the best part about all of this is the fact that since you've moved a few times, or
Yeah.
like multiple times in the time that you've actually had that when it
Yeah.
was the 90s, it's moved with you every time.
It's moved with me. This last time was the only time I had someone else that I was like accountable to as to like, why do you have that? Well, I was at a store and I really liked Ghostbusters and I found it amongst regular food and was like, what? So then I bought it and here we are, like
I take it
16 years later.
Brittany's not crazy about the idea of having botulism in the house then.
Well, I mean, it's not like it would ever accidentally be put in with other food and like kill someone. Like everyone knows. Hope like I'm assuming even people who would come over would be like, "Oh, this is really old." Like I guess if you're not culturally aware and you don't know what the real Ghostbusters is or was, you might get
Right.
into some trouble.
Right.
But
Like
at that point, like, if
you
you haven't
might
been paying
have
attention.
you might have like a refugee from the Ukraine, right, staying at your house because he was a pen pal. He comes
Hmm.
over and then you're like, "I got to go to work, Vlad. I hope you'll be okay here." And he's like, "Yes, very good." Then he goes in, he's like, "Ah, very good," and then eats it and dies. You just killed a Ukrainian that was a
Yeah,
refugee, Nathan.
I just come home and there's like a dead body. I'm like, what happened? And then I see this like open can of real Ghostbusters. I'm like, oh no, comic
It's just
mishap.
the like tomato juice is just like going down the drain like
It's like,
blood.
yeah,
Yeah.
just running from his lips. Just like, oh, first bite got him. It was that bad. It was that potent. I don't know, but yeah, this is the thing
Holy
that
shit,
could
that's the
happen.
dumbest idea.
Well, that's the sitcom episode that could happen. Or like, hey, say that World War III happens, Canada gets all bombed out, Adrian Brody's hiding in our house, and then
Adrian Brody. You know
well,
what? Yeah, because he's always. Yeah, you're right. No,
he's
okay.
always hiding in houses, and he finds a can of pickles. In this episode, he finds the real Ghostbusters tin, opens it with a penknife, all excited, and then tragic end of the movie. The Pianist 2. Uh-oh, real Ghostbusters got you. Shouldn't have opened that.
Shouldn't have done that.
I don't know. Anyway,
Who you gonna call? A
Burning Barrel?
hospital.
Oh, I thought you were setting up intro stuff. The Pixel Response. That's who you call formerly. Can we still use that name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Media Monks present Pixel Response's Barrel.
Welcome to the Pixel Response Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Okay, so full disclosure, I started laughing because I was watching the stream, and it has like the 10 to 20 second delay because we're on Twitch right now. And it showed you like doing a hand dance at first, so I started laughing about that. Then I looked over and you were just like with the Heinz Ghostbusters thing.
Yeah.
I have a Slurpee, and it was in my mouth, and I started laughing. So now I have that like lockjaw feeling when something tangy is in your mouth.
There's like Slurpee juice in your beard or something, but I wasn't sure.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. Anyways,
Yeah,
welcome back, everybody. This
video.
is Pixel Response, and I'm Paul, and with me is Nathan.
Hi, we're podcasting folks. We talk about stuff each and every time we do. It's gotten a little less regular lately. I was gonna say every week, but it's gotten a little intermittent. But when we talk a lot. So get ready, sit down, or I guess if you're on a bus or something, you got your headphones on, that's cool. But get ready to pause, because the thing you're gonna have to do is probably gonna happen before this episode's over.
Right,
So
like
save it for
you're
later
gonna,
too.
yeah, like have your hand ready on that pause button because you're gonna miss your stop otherwise.
Yeah, just like, hey, the Burning Barrel for both commutes, there and back. It's guaranteed long enough
for the rest of your work week.
Yeah, 5 days of commutes guaranteed. Like, maybe, unless you got like an hour or something on either side, then it'll only last you 2 days. At least last week's episode. Last time's episode, was it last week, or did we miss?
No, I think
it was 2 weeks ago, because I was recording by myself and didn't share the results because it was not a good idea.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that? What happened?
I guess, yeah, the lost episode is like, I was going to try to make it so I was talking to myself. So I was going to leave spaces for me to like answer myself. But after like a good amount of recording like that, I was like, this would be the biggest editing headache in the world to like act my way as the other part into this, or make this a conversation as opposed to just me saying things. So like, in theory, one character was going to be a TV watching guy, and the other guy watched only movies. And they were having a conversation about all the things I did that week. But yeah, it was...
all right.
It was a bad idea.
So the TV guy would be like, I don't know what you're talking about with Boyhood. Why don't you explain further? Like,
yeah, and then I'd be like, well, Boyhood is Richard Linklater's ambitious 12-year project. And then
wait a minute, I only watch television. Who is Richard Linklater?
Well, if you're a television
dumbest
guy...
idea. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it maybe there's potential in the idea, but my first crack at bat was pretty bad, so I have not shared the results. I guess I could talk about some of... Hey, like, Boyhood might actually be worth a mention.
Okay,
but,
sure. I
mean,
want to know about it. I didn't even ask you at work, for whatever reason.
I guess, yeah, I kind of forgot to... Oh, I'm going to force this issue and bring it up or something. I just didn't come up. But, okay, so Boyhood... I guess over the course of talking through it a bit with my own, like, just kind of hearing myself talk about it, I think the only real points I wanted to make about it was, like, it is probably the most honest realization of the coming of age story, because it takes 12 years to come of age. Like, it doesn't set unrealistic expectations of, like, well, I never had that amazing summer where I went to camp and learned everything there is about everything. Or like, oh, I got that summer job and all of life's lessons happened within a month. Like, it doesn't make that unrealistic expectation. It's like, no, you're probably going to go to school. Sometimes you'll move. Maybe you'll have like a step parent who kind of sucks. Like, who knows? Like, there's just kind of like matter of fact, just life happens kind of quality to it. And I mean, the big thing everyone talks about is like the 12-year scope of it, right? Like the kid grew up over the course of making the movie. And going into it, I wasn't sure how they were gonna like handle that. If they were gonna kind of be like age 6 or something, and then like there'd be a chapter of the movie, and then like age 7. Like they don't make any big deal about it. It just kind of unfolds right there. Like it'll just edit to the next scene, and now he's clearly older, and it is like later. It's like, oh, this is his first job or something. Like it'll just kind of keep going forward in time. And like conversations characters will just be like kind of dumb sometimes, but in a way that I was like, yeah, no, I could totally see someone having that stupid, pointless conversation about episode 3 with no real life-changing conclusion at the end of it. But the point is, hey, you went camping with your dad. Like that's kind of a memorable thing. And all you did was make s'mores and like talk about Star Wars and fail at fishing. But that's a thing that could happen. Like it's very like relatable, I guess. It just seems really almost documentary like at times. It's just like, yeah, that could happen. And it doesn't seem like boring as it's happening. Like I wasn't bored by the fact that it's really long and everything. It was more just like, I don't know, like there's so many little points. Honestly, like the soundtrack was a big part of it too. Like there's a scene that just opens with like that stupid Soulja Boy song playing, and I was just like, yeah.
Which one? There's a bunch of dumb ones. I mean, all of them arguably.
Oh, like whatever the fuck the first one was.
The like Superman.
Superman? Yeah, it was the Superman song. It's just like teenagers skateboarding and that song starts playing and you're just like, yep, that was probably 2006 or thereabouts. That's about exactly what happened. Or just like, yeah, in this scene the kid's playing some Tony Hawk and Dragon Ball Z is on the background. Like it's just like being a kid seems to be like much more realistic. It's not, I don't know, like wise beyond your years kind of thing. There's a bit of like pretentious teenager, I already know everything talk, but later in the movie, there's like kind of, you know, oh, maybe I don't like stuff like I don't know. I guess teenagers are kind of irritating. So once he gets to be a teenager, the movie gets a little irritating, but it's like, yeah, I probably said stuff like that a little bit. Like it's a good reflection kind of movie. So it's good. Like, I mean, all the critics that see it say it's like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. I don't know about that, but it's
Okay.
kind of, it's distinct. You know, there's a commitment to filming it this way and whatever. Like, there's talk about tons of behind the scenes features and stuff like planned already for when it comes out on home video. So that stuff's potentially really interesting. But it's good. I guess. Is it worth like a theater experience? Like it is a very small scale movie of just like hanging out with this guy and like this family for a while. Like it's not a lot of spectacle, obviously. It's just kind of a good little movie. So you would lose nothing at all in watching this at home. Like it's fine. And honestly, just because it's like 3 hours, there was a point where I'm just like, man, I wish I could pause this because I had a huge soda earlier. I'm gonna have to miss this scene. Because I need to go. So I am
going to
like,
piss myself if I don't leave right now. Yeah.
There's like, and it's an easy movie to kind of gauge how much time is left because you're like, okay, 12 years. So he's like 16 right now. So that means I'm on year 11. But I mean, they're probably going to have a conclusion, all this stuff. So there's probably at least 40 minutes left. I need to go to the bathroom. So I had to run out there and take care of that. So I missed part of a scene where they're like snarking it up at Denny's or something. But yeah, teenagers.
Who cares?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I missed something super momentous because the movie is kind of just very mellow and kind of small revelations and like really incremental lessons over the course of a long period of time.
Is it worth seeing? Just straight out?
Generally, yeah. Like it's like
okay.
I think it's still there's so much to kind of just think about in terms of like this is just a really good catalog of this period of time. Like maybe even for someone who is like 8 years younger than me, it would be like, wow, this is like lined up perfectly with my timeline of growing up and things I would hear about or talk about in North America. I don't know if this movie is like relatable to people outside of North America because it's like a Texas kid. So it's like Game Boy, what's that? Like going to the movies, owning a muscle car. Like I don't understand what. Like if maybe there's like a certain cultural relatability to this movie for me specifically because I live in the same general place. Or I guess Texas is kind of like Alberta too, maybe. Like there's certain like scenes that are just like, yeah, no, yeah, but this is a different country. But yeah, like the grandparent who owns a gun or whatever, and like just camping trips and all that kind of stuff are same activities. So I don't know. But yeah, it's a total like if it's on Netflix or something like you can watch it at home. Like you can totally watch this at home. You don't
Okay,
need to
so
go.
I don't have to go to a theater to experience
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Then.
that's kind of what I was saying about it's just small revelations. It's not a big spectacle in any way. It is a very small scale movie, but a very kind of honest, committed movie. So it was good. But yeah, I don't know. Hard to make
Cool.
it. Yeah, it's a kid growing up, man. Like I guess in a really a condensed amount of time, like 3 hours for like 12 years of a person's life, and like kind of a highlight reel of a lot of big moments is not that much time, but it's still a full evening movie right there. But yeah, Boyhood, it's good. Critics are not lying, but maybe
Okay.
they shouldn't be like. Weren't you saying like people were being real forceful about it on Twitter? Of just like, you need to see this right now. Stop what you're doing and go watch Boyhood. It's just like
It
what?
wasn't even Twitter. It was literally one person that emailed Top Down Perspective and said, "Oh, what are you doing? Even podcasting? Go now!" It's like,
Okay. Maybe that person is like a few years younger than us, and it lined up so perfectly. Like it was a huge revelatory thing for them. I don't know. Like for me, it was like, yeah, that was good. That was a good flick right there. But yeah, I finished watching The Sopranos too.
oh man, that
Have you?
ending, right?
That ending is amazing in that it's just like, no, we're not going to do what you thought we'd do. We're just gonna kind of go and then leave you suspended for the rest of time, like because that's the end of the show. And now Gandolfini's gone, so we can't even do anything. So
Like the
that's it.
movie or something. Can't
Yeah,
even
like there
happen.
can never be a follow up now. The
That's not
Sopranos
true.
ends in this
There
kind of
can be a follow up where Tony died and they're at his funeral or something.
sure, but there's debate as to whether that's even what happened and whatever. So yeah, I mean, finishing that prompted me to watch David Chase's movie, Not Fade Away, which I kind of
Okay.
tried to articulate thoughts about, but I don't know how to really like. I enjoyed it, but I don't feel I ever need to really watch it again. I think I kind of absorbed all of the thoughts it kind of had. It's just kind of like starting a band in the '60s, and it is like I kind of was relating it a lot to Inside Llewyn Davis, the Coen Brothers film.
Yeah.
I got the screenplay right here. Which
Is that the
movie,
only screenplay you own?
right now? Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, okay. No, I
Yeah.
was wondering. I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Yeah. That movie's about kind of a one-man like folk musician trying to make it, but not ultimately really making it in the '60s. This is about kind of a teenage garage band, kind of in the wake of the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and stuff, being like, "Yeah, we should get in on that," and they don't really make it. But the main character
is
seems to
great.
be like, yeah, like
Yeah.
there are so many stories of failures as opposed to big successes. And I kind of like how they open the movie because they start with like a moment where Mick Jagger meets some member of the Rolling Stones on a train, and they start talking about buying instruments and music and stuff. And you're just like, oh, see, this is a historic moment in rock history. Here's another moment that is basically the same with my brother and one of his friends in front of a music store, but you probably haven't heard of them because yeah, it didn't really work out. And it's just like, okay, like it's like the same basic thing, like just teenagers meeting and being excited about music, but one makes it, one doesn't, kind of thing. And yeah, I don't know. It's pretty mellow, kind of low sometimes, but there's some kind of qualities to be found there. But Gandolfini's in it too. I've been kind of like post that being like, man, there's not that much James Gandolfini stuff now that he's gone. So I'm just gonna kind of look into some of these movies. Like The Drop is in theaters now. I haven't seen that yet, but that's his last feature film, so I'm kind of curious about it. But yeah,
Wonder if it's any good.
I've heard it's okay, but not amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a
Tom
movie.
Cruise in it. It's a movie. A lot of movies end up in that kind of 6 out of 10 range.
Yeah. Like, it's okay. It's not anything
It's
great.
fine.
Though.
Yeah, like I gave Not Fade Away like 3 out of 5, which is like liked it on Netflix because they ask you right after, and you're just like,
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really like it. I certainly didn't love it, but I didn't not like it. It's like a 3. It's like a 3.
I don't really like the 5-point scale either
Yeah, it's kind of
myself.
forces you to make a hard call, and it's just like
Yeah,
I mean, that sounds negative a bit. Like it's like a
but it's like easily a great 2.
6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no, but like yeah, it's a 2, but it was like fun, you know? Like it was like
Yeah.
dumb, but I know it's bad. Like there's
It was
stuff
a great 2.
there's you can't put a comment or anything. It's just no, what did you think on this scale? So, yeah. But hey, that was like old stuff. That was like way long ago.
Yeah.
More recently,
Lego Movie.
the Lego Movie. I watched it 7 times. No, I'm lying. I haven't
7
watched
times in the last week.
Chris Pratt's so funny. Oh man, that guy. They should give him all the Oscars. Am I right? Fuck.
I do like that one of the guys that came for our work training thing with our new system, his name was Chris Pratt.
Yes, I have emails from Chris Pratt. I was just like,
Yeah.
that's so relevant right now. Summer 2014.
Right,
that is
yeah.
what's happening. Guardians of the Galaxy, all this stuff so hot right now. It's crazy.
Because like if it was last year, it'd be like, oh yeah, Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
He's pretty good on that.
That minor TV actor guy. Oh, he was in Wanted. He was that kind of lovable asshole guy. That was kind of
Was
fun.
he?
Yeah, he's like the boy, like the guy
Weird.
his girlfriend is cheating with, but he's kind of really nice about it. You know?
Oh. Okay.
It's like a supporting role, but it's kind of goofy, and he does his thing, you know? The kind of ironic, funny thing that Chris Pratt does so well.
Sure.
I guess. I stopped watching Parks and Rec like a couple years ago. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I just eventually was like, yeah, I just don't care. Like this show's starting to invest more in its plot for some reason, and I just wanted like dumb adventures.
That
like,
movie got
like,
weird after Leslie got that fatal disease.
What? Does that happen?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. No, I know she starts like actually competing for political office and stuff, and they start taking like local politics more seriously and like HR problems, and I was just like,
it's weird. Yeah.
What show are you writing? Because who cares? What are you doing, Greg Daniels? You keep doing this, and I don't know what you're trying to say.
The best gag in that whole series still is when she's going to like make an announcement or something. She's like campaigning or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they rent out like the arena or whatever, but there's ice on there because they have it iced for hockey or whatever. And they have this like podium built, but it's way too small and really high with no stairs. And like they have to walk, and the carpet that they were supposed to lay down was too short, so they have to walk across like just pure ice at some point, and they're kind of like in heels and in like loafers and stuff, so they're kind of like they're like going very slow, and the song's just like
not long enough.
Yeah, so it loops like 3 times, and every time it loops, I'm just like pretty good.
Awkward.
That's the best gag.
Yeah. But that might have been in the earlier seasons. I don't know. I haven't really kept up. But television stuff, Chris Pratt, funny. What was the movie we were even saying?
You didn't say the movie.
You said I was way into the Lego Movie, which is a flagrant lie. And because I don't know. I haven't seen it. So who could pass judgment on a commercial of that magnitude?
Don't.
A toy commercial with so much passion invested in it and its products that it's trying to sell.
What was the movie we're going to talk about?
With every frame. Did you watch any movies?
No, I haven't.
Did you play some more of the Dark Souls?
Yep.
How's the Dark Souls treating you?
It's probably the game of the year for me. So it's good. It's really good.
So, now, is Dark Souls kind of like Zelda or not at all? Because it's got swords.
In which way?
See, I guess I'm trying to suss that out, because some people be like, oh, it's like Zelda all grown up or something. It seems to be kind of but it's like, but there aren't puzzle dungeons in it. I know that now. It just sounds like all combat all the time,
Yeah. So
and
like that's why I was saying like it depends what you see Zelda as, which is the puzzle dungeons and then getting an item and then
I
using it
guess
on that boss.
they're medieval fantasy action games in third person, so they've got
Okay,
that
so
going.
with that very broad term, it is a growed up Zelda. There you go.
Ah, see, that's
In
what
the
I was thinking.
terms of a Nintendo game, it's not at all like a Zelda game.
Yeah, I mean,
You
I guess I've been playing some of the Zelda again, and I always do. And there's points where I'm like, wow, this combat is like patronizingly easy sometimes, almost all the time. In At least in like 3D Zelda games on default stuff that's not like second quest or anything, it's just like you just win. You're not going to lose a fight if you're like playing it and awake, I guess. Like it's not hard in that respect. It's more just like going on a big adventure, but the adventure is kind of showing you where to go and telling you what to do, and it's very like helpful. But that said, I kind of like forward progress, or else I get frustrated. So, like, I'm at about 30 hours in Twilight Princess, but I'm almost done. Whereas Dark Souls, or Demon Souls rather, I played probably 20, 30 hours,
Demon
and I
Souls,
have
yeah.
accomplished literally nothing. Like, I beat one area. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I just finished the first dungeon. Oh man, that all right. I I'm gonna put this away again for a while. Like it's just
Yeah.
I don't know the amount of like hand holding. I don't want to be like talked down to, but I don't want to get literally no information that's whatsoever. So it's kind of
So
just
Dark Souls 2 is the more streamlined version of that. So the item descriptions kind of give you an idea of what the item actually frickin' does now, for one thing,
wow.
which is a
That's really
huge
true.
revelation. You have a rechargeable source of like health benefit, like your SS flask
Yeah.
recharges, and that's how you get health. But like at the cost of the way you recharge it is by sitting at a bonfire, which respawns everything anyway.
hmm
So
I
there's a
mean,
little push and shove there.
that
Yeah,
doesn't
go
even
ahead.
sound like them kind of compromising or like trying to westernize it or anything. It's just
It's
like,
not.
no, we actually like translated it this time. We're actually trying
Right.
now because
Right.
people are paying attention. Like enough people are looking at us now that we're just like, okay, we'll stop just using Babelfish. Like here you go.
Well, no,
This is
because
what this
Atlas
actually
isn't
means.
doing it anymore.
Okay, but they
A-
have like a good reputation for translating like the Persona games, but
hmm.
I guess they just didn't do that with this one or Demon
Or they just
Souls.
kept it too Japanese, maybe.
Maybe, because I guess I'm saying like if I'm willing to put in the time to like read through your menus and look at the item descriptions and pay attention to it, I should get information for doing that, not just like a cryptic sentence and go
Right.
like what? I don't know what to okay, and it's like no,
Yeah.
dude, you should really use that. It will really help you, especially
Like,
in Blight Town.
fuck Blighttown. Another thing that Dark Souls 2 does well is
Yep.
when you level up your stats, it will actually show you like it. So on one side, there's like the stats you can level up, and then there's two more windows, and
hmm
it'll show like poison resist, bleed resist, like how much physical damage you do, how fast you attack, your casting speed, how much damage your fire damage does, and blah blah blah. And you'll actually see those like highlight based on whatever stat you're
hmm
looking at. So you will actually get some feedback right away of how much that stuff goes up number wise, which is really nice too.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, so wait, so I guess is starting at Dark Souls 2 totally fine? Like
oh
just being
fuck
like,
yeah.
okay, like I tried Demon Souls a lot, it punched me in the nose. I started Dark Souls, but was kind of just playing on a 360 and not really getting into it, and just kind of was like, this is a big investment. I don't want to do that. And then I bought the PC version and didn't actually start it ever. I think I installed it just because it's like, oh well, you need to actually install all these mods and stuff to make it good and like run it well. I'm just like, that's nice. I'll put that on the back burner as well. But now it's just like, hey, Dark Souls 2, they actually it's accessible but not like condescending.
It's
So maybe
right.
that'll be fun. And you saying there's like way more bosses, like I like bosses, so
Right. Yeah.
that might be great. I don't know.
There's 31 of them.
That's a
Besides
lot.
the 6 they've added in DLC so far.
That's almost
So
twice as many as the Colossi in that game, and I like that game. So I don't know. They're
Right.
not really similar, but I'm just saying, big monsters.
Right.
They're kind like there's big. That big knight was really big in that Demon Souls, so kind of Colossus.
I'm trying to think if there was a. I mean the first enemy you fight, like boss you fight, is called the Last Giant, and he is a giant.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess
The last of
there's
his race
that.
or whatever. Like it's like there's
Right,
a race of
yeah.
giants. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the primary game stuff you've been doing still, or am I just behind on the new trends? Like it's like, oh man, Hearthstone's got this sick update. You don't even know.
Oh, because you're just like based on what I've been talking about in TDP 3 months ago, or
like
not
a couple
3 months
weeks
ago, 3 weeks
is
ago.
like my most recent touchstone of like what Paul's been doing game wise, and Twitter, I guess, but I haven't really seen something bubble up.
Well, did you read what I tweeted yesterday? There was like 20 different tweets in a row.
About what, like searching for a new game to play, or
No, about what's been going on.
Okay.
Okay.
What's been going on? I don't absorb tweets. I just scroll through them and go like, okay.
Well, this
Okay.
is why I'm
I don't
asking if you saw it, because you would have seen my avatar pop up like 10 times in a row, because they were one right after another.
I didn't reply to any of them, so refresh my memory and I'll see if I did. I might not have. I don't know what to do with Twitter right now. My phone is not in the room. So
no,
I
it's
can't even
it's
cheat.
just about the stuff that's been going on here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think okay. I did see you say something to the effect of voicemails need to be purposeful or something, right? Like have a question. I saw that one. I saw that one.
That's not at all okay. No,
That's what you said. Did I just say that? I'm not saying that. Have a question.
I never said that.
I thought you said that.
I agree with you, but I never
Okay.
said it. No, about what's going on hospital-wise, like why I've been going to the hospital so often, and
Oh, I just saw like fuck hospitals and I'm tired of spending time in them kind of stuff, but I didn't get the full story, I guess. Everything okay?
yeah, no, everything's fine, but it's all there. Basically, I have cancer, anyways. So moving on.
Wait.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay, because Total Biscuit,
I know
all
right?
that, so I don't know.
I know, and
true.
it got you worried. That's why I had to say something. No,
Okay.
it was about Aaron's episode because of bipolar and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
What's been happening here.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was just about that, and yeah, that's been taking up most of my time these last couple weeks. So
Fair enough. It's just like, what, you didn't find giant sessions of time for some Legend of Zelda? Oh, yeah.
Nope.
Playing that Twilight Princess 2014.
I've been playing
Resurgence.
ArcheAge. I started ArcheAge.
What is that?
MMO.
Okay.
From Korea. It was out in Korea last year.
Whoa. South Korea? Yeah. It would be more interesting if it was North Korea. But, okay.
Yeah.
ArcheAge.
It's good. It's really good.
Magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was saying, like, I should probably move the video from that stream. I streamed a little bit of it last night onto YouTube or something. It was me playing for a couple hours, getting to level 10. And I like that it doesn't have a background lore to fall on, like how Star Wars has, like the Sith and Jedi stuff and all the EU stuff that's been written. World of Warcraft had all the Warcraft lore that they were writing for like the older games and stuff. Right. And like a lot of these other things, it does have a lore based on books, but there's something nice about, like, it's wrapped up in its own world, and it doesn't really care about the idea of orcs and humans or Sith and Jedi. Like, there's still two factions fighting each other, but they're basically just people.
Okay.
So, like, that's kind of nice. weird shit going on where there's like I'm playing in like Asian type race, so they have these, I don't know what they're called, but those, oh fuck, they have like dragon faces, but they look like giant poodles or something. I don't know. They're kind of terrifying looking. They're very like an Asian demon or something.
Okay, I was like, I don't know any fantasy trope analog for what you just said, so that's interesting. Poodle, lizard
Right.
people? Okay.
I'll see if I can find a picture of it maybe, but that's like when you repeated it back to me, it sounded like the dumbest thing because that's not at all it.
Okay.
But I'll see if I can find a picture of it for you, and it just kind of has its own feel to it, which is really nice. It moves very fluidly. The thing I don't like about it so far is that it feels like there's a lot of resources it's sucking up out of my computer unnecessarily from an MMO, but then I also realized there's no load screens except for like very randomly through when it throws me into an instanced area, like switching a server over or
So
something.
it's like streaming a lot of stuff at all times or something.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that probably has a lot to do with it, and yeah, like that has to be it as I'm thinking about it now. Okay, so in this, they're called leomorphs. I don't know if that's actually like a thing that they like called
Leomorphs. Okay.
I just gave you, and I'll put it in here for anybody who didn't watch yesterday, even though I think they did. Like very
I'm
Asian
getting kind
inspired.
of yeah, I'm getting like basically those dragons in parades and tauntauns from Star
Sure.
Wars.
Yeah,
know?
so but like it's kind of cool to see a different design for a mount.
Sure,
Like
yeah.
that.
It's
Yeah.
not just like a griffin or something. It's got its own.
I think there are still like griffins, there's like horses and donkeys and elks and stuff. Like there's still normal-ish stuff you can ride, but there's also like there's a snow lion thing that looks kind of cool too. I don't know. I just think it's has a kind of cool thing going for it. I like a lot of things they do to streamline my experience because I've played a lot of MMOs and I hate clicking next or next, yeah, accept quest or whatever. This game, when you're in an area that you can interact with something and you're like facing it, if you push F on your keyboard, you'll interact with it. If you put G, you will just go like, yeah, okay, accept.
Okay. So you just walk up to an NPC and it's just like, whatever it is you're about to say, I'm down with that. Just point me in the right direction. Okay, yeah, I'll go get these 12 shark fins or whatever, and then you just go off and start collecting.
That's exactly it. Or like, you have to go pick up an object, so instead of having to click on it, I just run up to it, push F, and then leave.
Okay. I'm assuming
nice.
It's free to play because it's a modern MMO, right?
It is free to play. Yes.
Okay.
However, I paid for the founder pack to get in early because it doesn't. It releases in 15 minutes officially, September 16th.
Oh wow! Okay, so this is a special launch episode for ArcheMage.
ArcheMage.
Isn't that what it's called?
It's ArcheAge.
What? ArcheMage, dude. I thought that's what it was. ArcheAge. ArcheAge. Oh, okay. ArcheAge. Korea.
Anyway.
Yeah. Is this a new developer, or do you know if they have history or?
The developer themselves is I'm trying to remember what else they did.
Aeon.
They did do something. No. Wait.
Divinity 2.
Wait, did Treon buy out NCSoft? NCSoft was Aeon, I believe, which I also played a bunch of back in the day.
Yeah. Okay.
Did Treon buy them out?
I have
Or is Treon just the publisher?
Dude, you're asking me about MMO public. BioWare made one of those once. Blizzard and EverQuest. Those are ones that exist. I don't know. Maple Story.
Anyways, I can't remember who developed it. I guess I can look it up quickly. But
it was doesn't matter.
It was brought over here. it was brought over here and published like to Europe and North America and stuff like that by Treon, who has done Tribes games and that sort of stuff. So yeah, Treon is a pretty known entity. I think this is gonna drive me crazy. Hold on.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure Treon had something to do with NCSoft, because I think they have Aeon and Rift, both of which are MMOs, in their thing here. Okay, so Treon is a game developer and publisher. It was founded in 2006 by two people who previously worked for NCSoft. So yes, that's where that comes from. Oh, and they're the guys that did Defiance. Remember Defiance? Please.
Was that TV show crossover?
Yes.
Yeah, I do vaguely remember that was kind of a weird co-marketing thing, but I didn't look. It was a space show or Sci-Fi Channel or something?
Yes, Sci-Fi. That's them. Okay, yeah, so Homer posted it in the chat. So Jake Song was a developer of Lineage. So this is his company called XL Games.
Okay.
But I think this might be their first thing with that name. Maybe. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, anyways, another thing I liked about it. There's a weird, like, they're going for a MMO open world sandbox, which is crazy.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, like, as in, you go to a market, you can buy plans to build a house, you go buy land and pay taxes on land, gather resources, build a house, and you can build a farm, and, like, you can build a ship for, like, going on the ocean and stuff. People can, like, kill you and steal your shit.
Okay, and it's not all, like, instance. Like, it's like, no, you can go to that player's house, and that player's house is there.
Dude, this is the problem. Is that there are people on my server that have land rushed. So when I get to the point where I can buy land, it's all gone already.
Oh, okay. So, like, the player economy stuff, it's like, dude, I gotta buy some land from a person.
And, like,
the costs are crazy.
And people can, like, buy a bunch of land and be like, well, I'm probably going to give this game up. So, like, I'm going to sell off my plot of land for a bunch of money. Like, it's weird. You can do...
Yeah.
Like, there's people that can just sit on a plot of land and, like, sell it to the highest bidder. It's some crazy shit that you can do in it.
So there's, like, finite resources that are highly sought after.
Well, space, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's odd. Okay. But ships, you could just, the ocean could get crowded, I guess, but, everyone can have a ship. Weird. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a cool thing where it's just like, you can, like, do stuff in this world and people can fuck you over just like in real life. You know what? I kind of don't like the idea now that I can be fucked over as bad in a game as I can in real life.
But you were talking about EVE Online a while ago, and that's that same principle, right? Of just, like, people getting fucked over, buying resources. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I want a house. But, like, I'm going to have to look for a plot of land that I can afford. And it's going to be... I don't know. There's a weird dichotomy happening with this game already in my head that is, like... This is too much like real life, just like finding housing for an affordable price and making sure you pay your tax on the land in-game, which would essentially be rent in real life.
Gross. Yeah, I don't want a simulation of that. That's terrible.
And, like, if you have a guild, you can, like, have plans to start building, like, your own little, like, barracks and stuff for, like, and, like, castle stronghold for your guild. So, like, there's a bunch of people in your guild's houses in there, along with, like, a marketplace and stuff. It's really kind of cool, but I don't know how it's going to work with the community, because it probably works with Koreans, because Koreans are very, like, they understand some etiquette when playing online games, and they like this idea of escapism through online gaming, where it seems like the Americanization of doing online gaming stuff is just like, fuck you, faggot, lol, 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 and eating a bunch of Doritos or something.
Okay. I sometimes like, it's just like, I want to win this game, and be the winner, and then
Well, I think it's just a
quit.
thing with like Asian cultures in general where they want to like succeed, whereas like the North American perspective on video games is like, let's have fun by killing each other and then pooping on each other or something.
Like just kind of fucking around, like
yeah,
not really.
I don't want to buy a house. I just want to kill you over and over until I can burn yours down. Like, I don't know.
Nerfing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas like
or what
Asian
is it?
cultures seem to like to one up each other a lot.
Competition.
So
And
yeah,
then
so
play
then it's
better.
just like I saw what Kim Wong Ju over here, what his house looks like, so I got to add one layer on top.
Yeah.
What?
Kim Wong. I don't know. It's just like, is this the racist part of the podcast? Or
Why? There's
I don't
probably
know.
somebody
Is that a
named
real name? Okay. Just
Maybe Kim Ju Wong.
oh, there you go. Yeah, that's actually a guy. No, I have no idea. Jong Ho Bong. That guy's cool.
John
He-
Ho Bong.
Or sorry, it's Jun Ho. Dude, he makes movies. He
I
directed
like
Snowpiercer.
I love how you said it. John
Yeah.
Ho Bong.
Yeah, no, that guy's good filmmaker.
I'm pretty
man.
sure that's not his name though, Jong Ho Bong.
Maybe I'm bad. I'm probably bad at pronouncing it. It's got like Jun Ho in it, and Bong.
Okay. That's yeah, that sounds way
Jun
more
Ho. Yeah.
Jun Ho
Snowpiercer
Bong.
on the internet now. Although it's not his best movie, The Host. Big Fish
Oh,
Monster.
it's just really good.
I really like
Yeah.
it. Okay. I mean, it's Korean as well, so that's why it's relevant to this stuff.
As more stuff has actually started leaking out of Korea onto the internet for like, and it being kind of a thing to just see what they've been up to,
Mhm.
they have a lot of real cool shit. Like they have some really good stuff.
Yeah. They're this century's Japan.
Honestly, yeah.
Maybe. Like, they have a lot of cultural contributions and stuff that Japan kind of used to. Not in the animation front, maybe.
I mean,
although they were animating our shows this whole time. Like, The
Yes.
Simpsons and stuff was being made there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no. Like, a lot of their films and stuff seem to be...
And I mean, somebody's going to have to take Japan's place after the nuclear reactors obviously take that place down. Because, holy shit.
Is that
Like,
still bad over there?
I
Like,
think-
thought
I
that
don't know.
was-
Like, they got that under wraps, but wasn't it just like, it was considered kind of a minor problem last time, and it, like, wiped out a huge area, right? Like, that's how much of their country, like, relies on nuclear power.
Oh,
like,
like,
aren't
you
there
mean just
power plants-
blackouts? Like, there's just no power now to...
No, I'm talking about, like, if something catastrophic happened, like, God forbid, and all of their nuclear power just, like, went off, that whole
Mhm.
area would probably be gone, right? Because it's huge there.
Oh, I guess, yeah. Like, you're saying how dense of a population on a small island with nuclear reactors, if one of them goes off, a lot of people will die.
And, like, some of the biggest ones in the world or something?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I
I
know
don't
that
know.
was, like,
That's
there was the
scary.
whole cooling fear and whatever after the big flood, like the tsunami stuff.
It's
But
scary.
That was, like,
It
2
actually
years ago.
is. That was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the current state of it is. But, yeah.
But we have Korea now, so Japan could do what they wish, I guess.
They make games over there, though, in Japan.
They
Including
do. They
games
made
I've
this
been-
game called Twilight Princess.
They did, like, 8 years ago. And when I
really
played
like
it...
that game.
Yeah, I played it as, like, a bit back in the day. I didn't even get through the second temple, though. And
Oh,
then
you
I
never
just
beat
kinda-
it then?
Oh, no, I'm, like, playing it effectively for the first time right now. Like, actually.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
So, no, dude, okay, so, flashback, 2006. I start playing it, kind of going into it with a lot of negativity from GameSpot. There's a certain amount of snark in that I've kind of just
Oh, no.
absorbed into my DNA at the time.
Why do
so-
I feel like a Gamergate thing's gonna happen?
What? No, I don't.
Just
okay.
like game journalism kept me off of this great game, man. Hidden agendas,
jerks,
feminism.
scandal. No, it was just the tinny sound effects coming out of the Wii remote, which is true. It is kind of shitty sound, and them kind of having some of the sound in that. Basically, at the time, I was presented with this kind of split decision of just like, do you want to play this on the GameCube or the Wii? So I started playing on the Wii because it came out day one with that thing, and I bought it right away. Was kind of about it. Then the GameCube version came out, and I kind of just got worn out playing the exact same stuff again 2 times in a row. Like,
Right.
all Zelda games have like 4 hours of kind of just tutorials and setting up the world and giving you your first stuff and hey, go buy your first shield and all that stuff every single time.
Uh-huh.
So doing that kind of annoying part twice in a row burnt me out that time, and I just kind of put it back on the shelf and never played it again until recently. And I'm trying to think why I started. I think it was just the Wii U is set up in the bedroom and it has backwards compatibility with the Wii stuff. I was just looking for a new game to play, and I was like, "Hey, I never actually really played this much. Let's check it out." And maybe in the interim time, I've heard some people say it's like the darkest Zelda game since Majora's Mask. Like it's kind of moody and creepy and whatever. So I was like intrigued enough about that and started playing it. And I guess I was still having like some kind of annoyance with it for the first while because there are those sections where they just force you to be a wolf for like quite a
Yeah.
while. Like
Yeah.
it's just like, no, the twilight has fallen. You need to dispel the twilight. Go collect like 16 tears.
You get over that though after a bit.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, there's only 3 of those, and after that, the game finally opens up to the point where they just give you the ability to turn to a wolf whenever you want, and you can
Mhm.
now warp to all these portals that you've been opening this whole time.
Right.
And it just speeds up a lot, and you're just able to get down to the real business, which is the dungeons. And a lot of those dungeons are actually really good because that's where Nintendo shines, I guess, is making cool places to do stuff
Like
in,
the
like cool
Zelda people
puzzles.
for sure. That's where they shine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So probably like the third temple, like the Zora one, was the first time I
Yeah.
was like, all right, this is actually kind of rad. Um, and like I guess something I am appreciating about this Zelda game that is kind of distinct is because of the more and somewhat controversial, I guess, serious art style. Like some of the monsters are actually just freaky. Like you'll just like drop
Yeah.
into a cave and be like, "Oh God, there's like 10 Skulltulas in here. There's giant spiders everywhere. I need to kill them right now because I hate spiders so much." And I was just like, "Ah!" So yeah, big spiders. I fought a giant spider last night, and it was pretty cool. It was one of the boss battles in I guess the second last temple. I think I'm on the sky area now. Is that the last area?
I don't remember.
Okay.
When did that game come out on GameCube?
2006, I think December. I have it on
I
GameCube
played
as
I
well.
played it December of 2006. So,
Okay, this is 8 years ago.
oh
But yeah,
man,
I
that's
guess
a long time.
like thinking through it, it's like there really are only 5 like fully 3D console based Zelda games. So that I
Yeah.
missed one is kind of crazy. So I was just like, man, I just had this like game waiting for me to enjoy it this whole time, and here I am doing just that. So yeah, and I guess that also made me like kind of look through my collection and be like, wait, what am I missing? I was like, oh yeah, I never actually owned Spirit Tracks, so I bought Spirit Tracks today. And I
Gross.
never owned Link's crossbow training, and I bought that
Okay.
today with
That
the crossbow.
I hope that only cost you like $5 maximum.
It came with the crossbow, and it was in the box. So, how much would you pay?
$5.
$30.
Oh no. No.
Yeah, I basically paid like brand new price for it. But yeah,
Okay.
which is kind of dumb now because I actually enjoy playing. But here's the thing: I bought that this afternoon
Yeah.
and finished it this afternoon. It's
Yeah.
like a light gun shooter. So I was like,
Like,
man, this is
yeah.
great. And then it's just like, all right, I that was fun actually. That was actually fun. So I'll point in your favor, but I finished it already, and this is kind of the only game that uses this crossbow that I would ever want to play. Because
Even
like
Marshmallow's like, "Oh god, Nathan."
in the
Like out of all
pamphlet,
people, Marshmallow.
dude, it's kind of great. Like they repurposed some of those areas in cool ways for a light gun shooter, and like But again, it's the only game that I'll ever use that peripheral for because it's not like if you bought it in 2008 or whatever, it's like, well, maybe they'll make a bunch of cool stuff for this. All right. But now it's like, no, it's 2014. That system is dead. I know nothing ever came of this, but I need it because completion. So yeah, I have it. Zelda spin-off games, man, I gotta include that. There's one game I'm still missing though, and I played through all of it, but I borrowed it from Sean, Skyward Sword. So I'm trying to buy it, and
Is it hard to
people,
find?
it's getting apparently it's kind of hard to find a little bit. But I have an inflated kind of sense of the value because the video game store I've been going to is kind of notorious for overpricing stuff. It's Canada Video Game Trader, you know?
Yeah, they're very
So
notorious for
it's like,
overpricing
hey,
everything.
we have a sealed copy with the soundtrack, so that's pretty rare, right? $130. I was like, oh, all right, I'll be back. I'm gonna buy that Spirit Tracks though, because you're not gouging me too bad on that.
Yeah,
But
you're
I
not
will.
bending me over for that one.
I'm gonna
So,
go do a little research about this Skyward Sword situation. So there were a couple Kijiji ads that are around $40. I've asked both of them if they're still available, based on not hearing anything. Probably not. But
sure.
I mean, $40 is like I'd pay 60 still because it's a Zelda game. I want it,
I
and I
just
know
looked
it's
it up
good.
on Kijiji and I see both of them. One is 35
I
and the
know.
other is 40. And the
Yep.
third thing is Zelda Backpack at 39th Station Friday at noon. You
Yeah.
got off at 39th around 12:30. I just wanted to say I like the backpack. Skyward Sword?
Oh, weird. I didn't know there was like
It's
a misconnections
it's
thing
like
or
a
something.
it's a classified, yeah.
Oh, weird. Okay. There
Yeah.
was also one I was saying where someone was like trading a bunch of PS3 games in hopes of getting Skyward Sword, which is like, I'll give you GTA 4 and like I forget Bad Company or something. It's like,
Oh,
what?
I would do that
Oh,
because
okay.
GTA 4 and Bad Company are like in the $5 bins at EB Games. That's essentially
Oh,
$10 worth of games.
right, but you're just like, I'm gonna trade 4 games and hope to get this good game that people want. Not that GTA 4 is a bad game. It's just it's not a rare
It's
game
just
at
not
all.
a
You can
good one.
trip over
It's
all
not
of.
good either.
You can go to a drugstore and just be like, yeah, there it is,
hmm
Platinum Hits Edition or whatever. So, anyway, yeah, Skyward Sword is my next thing to acquire.
I've been
Speaking of,
meaning to play that forever now, so
oh,
I
you
should
haven't played
probably
it.
look it up. Yeah.
It's actually like because it actually it's with the motion plus stuff. It is really like, oh, this is what motion controls should have been doing. Like it's actually really fun to
Okay.
do most of that stuff. There was like one temple in the whole game that I actually had issue with, and it was basically it just did not make it clear how a thing worked. That just held me back for like an hour of just
I need to
wandering
ask
around.
you a question.
Yeah, yeah,
You know that sequelitis
yeah.
about Zelda?
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
you know the Game Grumps. They said at their
Oh, oh yeah.
panel
Hmm.
that the next sequelitis is just about Skyward Sword and how shitty it is. What do you say to that? They're
I
doing a
mean,
whole episode just based on Skyward Sword is the worst Zelda game ever made.
I guess I would kind of say nostalgia can be a little too powerful and totally skew your vision about expectations and whatever. Like it's a 3D Zelda game, which is different. So, do you like 3D Zelda games? If not, go keep playing Link Between Worlds over and over. That was for you. This is a
Yeah.
different game. They're different games. Like they're like patience is required to enjoy this. Combat isn't the thing. It's more just like enjoying art design and going through these immaculate temples and stuff. Like there's a certain enjoyment to that. So I just see that's kind of a waste of time. Like I don't know. Why complain about it? It's good if you want what it sells, and I did, so I had a great time.
Sure.
Like it's a really vibrant, colorful game. It has some kind of crappy elements to it of just traversal and getting around and stuff. And I mean, there was that one temple with the like. Okay, I guess I did have issue with one part, which is there's a dungeon that's basically designed around the bow, so it's like
Okay.
very long corridors because you're going to be shooting arrows down it, which is
Yeah.
great when you're like, oh man, this corridor's full of enemies and I'm shooting arrows at them. But if you go all the way up that corridor and then go, wait, I don't know what to do, and then go all the way back the now empty corridor and then figure out what to do and then go all the way back, like it's just like a lot of just running and rolling and like getting around the world very slowly. gets kind of annoying after a while. But that was like the one real negative experience I had in that whole game. So I don't whatever. People getting upset about stuff. I don't know why.
That's like the internet.
It's just not really like. Is it really worth getting? Like, it's like you didn't have to play it. Like, you could have stopped and just gone and not done that. I mean, I find like I have like a annual appetite for just Zelda games, and I'm willing to put up with all their shit like once a year. Like, it's just like,
There's a large contingent of people that agree with you.
yeah,
Based on
it's just
that.
like, and there isn't a Zelda game every year like a Call of Duty or something. So that can kind of mean I'll play a couple of them in a bunch or whatever. But yeah, like there's totally design things that are like questionable in terms of like tutorials and whatever, kind of belaboring stuff. Giving you a character, like I was actually annoyed with Midna a lot in the early parts of Twilight Princess because
Yeah.
it would be like, "Hey, I don't know what to do right now. Talk to Midna," and she wouldn't help at all. Like it's just like you need to collect these three things, and you're just like, "Yeah, I know. Which one should I go after first, and where is that?" No help whatsoever. It's just like, all right, what the hell? And like just go on Zelda Game Facts or something and just be like, oh, I go there now. Okay, whatever. There. Now I talked to this guy and apparently he knew where that was on the map and helps me out. So yeah, there's been times
Cool.
where I'm just like, the game isn't helping me at all, and their help character isn't helping. So at this point, I'm just gonna use my phone because I don't have all night. I just want to play a temple. I just want to go into a dungeon today. Like, yeah, one dungeon a night kind of thing is like a nice pace. So
How much Rule 34 of Midna have you looked up right now?
I mean, I encountered it before just being
Oh.
in the subreddit. So yeah, I know that's out there. I guess,
Okay.
does she turn into like a Zelda lady?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, because Rule 34 did spoil that plot point for me.
Great.
Because I was like, what? That's not what Midna looks. Oh, Midna probably looks like that later in the game. Okay. I didn't know it'd be this late though, because I'm on like hour 30 and that still hasn't happened yet. So I guess that's like a last minute reveal, huh? Thanks for tagging with spoilers, guys.
Yeah, it's the end.
You porno files didn't help me out at all.
You porno files.
I mean, they're drawing all the art and everything, but they don't feel the need to be like, hey, by the way, if you're still actively playing this game 8 years later, watch out. Jeez, these guys.
It's
3D
rough,
Zelda
man.
games, though. There's only 5. So I missed 20% of all the 3D Zelda games.
That's weird to me that there's
I
that
know.
few. Yeah.
I mean, it's been 16 years, so that is really not very many. That's like one every 3 years. I mean, I'm saying specifically third person, like the whole 3D space is important to the gameplay. Like, it's not like oh, well, Phantom Hourglass is polygonal. It's like, no, I know, but that's not what I mean. I mean, like, actual fully 3D developed kind of spaces,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in that case, yeah, there's only 5. Okay, wait. So not to just give too much, I don't know, but does Egoraptor hate Twilight Princess or not? Because
I don't probably. He hates any
okay,
games that are good, so it doesn't matter.
yeah, I guess I guess I'd just be like, if you don't like this, if you don't like Skyward Sword, like it does a lot of the combat things and the motion control stuff like way better. So that would be odd. But I guess if you're just like, I don't like 3D Zelda games at all, it's just like, okay, well then stop playing them. Like, what are you doing? Stop hurting yourself, Egoraptor. I don't
Yeah.
understand. I mean, I watched that kind of, we talked about it, the video that's comparing
Yeah.
between like Link to the Past and stuff with Ocarina and not liking things Ocarina does.
And how stupid it is to compare the two.
Kind of.
It's
But-
really dumb.
I guess a lot of it gets by on just, even with kind of limited graphics and stuff, like kind of just the spectacle of seeing Hyrule in like a more detailed, more polygonal kind of way. I kind of just enjoy that stuff. Like, it's just like, this temple looks cool. It's like, well, yeah, but is it fun to play at all times? Well, no, not all the time, but it looks really nice. So I'm kind of still having a net overall good experience. So I'm not going to get too upset about it. But yeah, video games.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Did you
Yeah.
have a point, or I was gonna do a
No,
transition?
I want you to go on, but you went like you were thinking about like should I say this?
Okay. Well, I mean, it's probably just because I've just been doing both of them on the same day, but I just watched Fritz Lang's M, which is a
Yeah.
movie from 1931.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? Or
No.
okay, just wondering, maybe somebody has. Uh, I guess main point I want to make is it's weird seeing a movie kind of from this early time between like talkies being like the thing and silent
Uh-huh.
films because
Uh-huh.
it kind of does both in the same movie, and it just seems kind of weird. Like it's like,
Is any good though at doing that?
well,
Or
here's the thing. I guess here's what I'm gonna say is like it's like a well-regarded, revered movie by like film people, right? Like it's like, oh, like yeah, there's a Criterion edition of it. Like this is a classic of German expressionism and all this stuff. And you're just like,
yeah, but
yeah,
who
yeah, yeah.
cares about film people?
I know. So I guess what I'm working up to is like you could say all that, but you could also say, oh, this was before they figured out how to fully utilize the medium of film to tell stories because the sound design is terrible. And it's not like, oh, well, it's early.
Yeah.
It's like, no, there's like no sound effects for like most of the stuff. There are whole sequences that are just silent because they're silent. It's like they're just like, yeah, we just don't do ambient audio because it's 1931. And you're just like, okay, fair enough. But I'm sure glad someone after this made stories that were like this, but with like
Yeah.
fully realized every single part of the movie going experience is catered to and adds to the story. Because,
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's about a serial killer and like this city that's trying to figure out who it is and all this, and kind of vigilante justice versus police justice, and kind of like who's going to find him first and all this stuff. And it's like really early in the movie, I was like, wow, there's just a movie about serial killers like in the 30s. Like that was a topic for movies like going way back, like really early in the whole thing. Like that's kind of cool. And like, you know, last week I watched Zodiac again, which is like a movie about a serial killer, and like there's kind of like even there's certain like points of comparison just plot wise, like the killer writes letters to the local newspaper and kind of taunts everybody, and there's kind of this atmosphere of fear and paranoia and stuff with the people. But it's still just like this one doesn't have certain kind of filmmaking techniques down yet, and like it's doing some cool intercutting stuff between the two different groups. Like the vigilante group is having a meeting, the police are having a meeting at the same time, and it's just kind of showing you both of them kind of coming to similar like decisions about like we need to catch this guy. But it's old and it shows, but it's still okay to like be like, well, no, this did some cool stuff at the time and was noteworthy at the time. But I guess what I'm kind of like thinking through is like I think, you know, like it's like somebody who is like 25, 30 years old in 1931 probably wouldn't even notice any of that stuff. He's like, oh man, you see that cool, dark, weird movie about the serial killer,
Sure.
you
Right.
know? And it would just be neat because like they don't know what more, like, you know, about like, oh, well, you could do more with like the music and the
But
soundtrack or the sound
see, this
effects, you
is
know?
what's so cool about not being satisfied with anything in any medium. Is
No,
that that was really cool, but I think I could make it a little bit better. And then people started doing like what you said, put
right.
sound design and stuff.
I guess I was
So
just kind of matching it up to a conversation I had earlier this week about early video games and just not being interested in them because like the first video game console or means of playing video games I ever used was an Atari. So it just had like
yeah,
I guess objectively really shitty graphics, but I just didn't care because I was a kid and I was introduced to it as just this is video games, and I was able to just kind of be like, this is neat because when I press the buttons, stuff happens on the screen. That's great. And I was just into that. And it's just like, yeah, but I mean, that car is just actually two red blocks and like, you know, six gray rectangles. Isn't that kind of shitty? And you're just like, I don't know, I'm driving a car and I'm like four. This is awesome. Like, I don't care. Like, you know, like it's easy to get over that kind of hurdle of like, well, this isn't the ultimate realization of this thing. And you're just like, yeah, but I mean, it's new and it's cool and it's doing something different. That's fun. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I'm just like, you should extend the same kind of pass to video games because they're still figuring it out and we know they're still figuring it out. films had to figure it out, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, there were times where, like, movies that are looked back upon as like, oh, that's such a great work of art. You're just like, it was still kind of primitive in some respects. Like, some of Hitchcock's early movies, boring as all get out. Kind of terrible. There's a movie called Blackmail. Fell asleep watching it. It's not very good. But everyone goes like, oh man, Alfred Hitchcock, one of the greats. And you're just like, yeah, like, eventually. You know? Like, you still have to figure out some stuff. So it's like, there are game developers who are, like, still tinkering around. It's like, well, this part here is a little weird. I don't know. And, like, you know, we're not done. We're not saying, like, this is it. This is a definitive video game. Like, we're finished. Like, everyone's still trying. So, I don't know. I like kind of comparing the timelines of just, like, everyone's really excited about the thing. Like, people are flocking to movie theaters and stuff, really like it. You know, cultural elite, though, little incredulous, kind of go like, it's kind of like plays, but shittier. And then eventually it's like, no, dude, this is like its own thing. This is great. And then it becomes like really respected. And you have like this era of just, it is the thing. And then it's like, yeah, games like really popular from day one, like Space Invaders making all the quarters, you know, like people really excited about it. But it takes a while before it's like, no, like you can like do real unique stuff with this, like if you wanted to. And like now we're kind of approaching that golden age, hopefully. I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, meanwhile, Zelda games have been here this whole time, and Nintendo's kind of been making them a little bit better each and every time.
Yeah.
I'm okay with, like, not expecting it to be the best thing in the world. It's just like, no, it's like it's a thing I know. It's a known quantity. Some stuff's good in this one that will be improved upon later or whatever. Like, it's not, I don't know. I'm willing to spend the time, though, because it's already novel enough. Like, I get to be with the guy with the sword every time I play one of those, so that's cool. You know?
Sure.
I'm not going to watch Legend with Tom Cruise
Usually you start with that wooden sword, work your way up to the master.
Yeah, you get that wood shield that burns in the fire dungeon, and you're just like, why did you give me this? Yeah.
Right.
And I didn't even know you could buy the metal shield right outside that dungeon in the hot springs until after I'd done that dungeon. So... Like, my shield burnt, and Minna was like, you should buy another shield. I was like, fuck you, I don't want to leave this dungeon again. I'm just going to finish it and not get hit by arrows. So...
that's what you did.
Yeah, I'll hide behind this crate, and then it'll be fine. And yeah, it worked out. Weird magnet boots. I have like 12 hearts now. Anyway. I'm looking forward to finishing it. It'll be fun.
It's a great game. I really like that game.
Like, right from the get-go? Like, even back then? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I have taken flack for my opinion on that game so hard. Whereas there's like, yeah, I fucking hate Wind Waker, but Twilight Princess got me pretty good. Like, for 3D Zelda, it was probably one of my favorites. And people are like, you're the biggest fucking idiot I've ever talked to. It's like, okay.
It's kind of weird.
Zelda 2 Master Race.
Yeah, it's weird to get upset about it. But, I mean, they're all kind of...
upset about video game stuff, though.
I guess, but it's just like, it's all the same franchise. Like, do you like the franchise or not? Like, it's all going to be kind of the same every time out.
No,
like,
I'm not even talking about franchises. I'm talking about internet people get mad about video game anything. Like, that's just what happens.
Yeah, okay, I guess, yeah. I kind of want to you're paying attention more to the climate right now. Are people angry at that new Destiny game? Or are they happy? I don't know if it's good or not. I haven't looked at any footage or anything. I just saw kind of middling reviews, but I wasn't sure what's going on. Like,
okay, see, this is a weird thing. It could be really
fun. Like, I don't know.
There was an embargo for a while for actual, like, game journalists or whatever you want to call them to put anything out about it. Okay. And the reason for that is because they wanted the servers to be full of people sort of thing, because it's a co-op based game. Like, all of their stuff is, like, focused on the multiplayer. So their reasoning is, we want you to, like, actually play this the way it's intended to be played when the servers go live and blah, blah, blah. And then after that, you can spend your time a week or whatever after it goes live and you can do your review. It seems totally fair to me. It's fine. It's whatever. And the thing is that Destiny is a Bungie shooter on a Sony and Microsoft platform, which blew some people's minds for whatever reason, because they were just used to Bungie equals Halo maybe, and this is kind of like a Borderlands type thing. in a
Wait, so
way.
there actually is kind of a console wars thing happening with this of just like, oh well, this is our developer, they're traders now or something. Is it that kind of crap or what?
No, it's not that. It's just that it was one of these things that the day of and the day before, the hype train was going super hard, and then
Hmm.
people realized it's a video game and they calmed down about it.
Oh, okay.
So people are saying for what it is, it's fun. Like it's kind of just like a Borderlands without that Borderlands charm sort of thing. Like if you like that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm like, if you interpret the things Borderlands does as charming, as opposed
Yeah.
to incredibly grating and terrible. But okay, the
Yeah, so
comedy in it is, I don't know. I
like
have it though.
I think the better word is not charm but like personality maybe.
Personality,
Yeah,
attitude. Yeah, okay.
personality. Like it's bland. It's a
Hmm.
bland Borderlands sort of thing. Because you have to give
Okay.
it to them. Borderlands has a personality. Like it really does.
Yeah, but I mean,
And
like,
and honestly, the
there's.
first game's personality is totally good. It's really only the second one's writing that really bothered me. But
Mhm.
that is neither here
I
nor
mean,
there.
cool, good-looking sci-fi stuff could just be
Yes,
cool on its own. Like, I don't know. I guess
that's kind of
really
yeah.
the thing about this Destiny stuff that like struck me at like was just like, oh, okay, yeah, like is that on Steam or whatever? Oh, 2050. Oh, okay. I guess I'll just wait then. Like, I don't really
I
have
think I
one of those
agree
new
with
consoles, so.
I
Eh.
think I agree with Total Biscuits assessment of that
Hmm.
with it coming out. It's like, yeah, I'll see you. Or wait, so you mean all I have to do is wait a year, play other games that are coming out, not have to worry about this, and then I will get the Ultimate Edition that is made specifically for the better platform, in which like blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, okay, we'll see you 2015 Destiny. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm with that
Okay.
too. Like, there's other stuff out. I don't need
Yeah.
Destiny, so.
I mean, there's games that came out 8 years ago that are worth playing. So I mean, there's got to be so many cool games that I
ArcheAge
don't even
dropped
know.
half an hour ago.
Yeah, it's finally out. Launch episode right here. So, oh, I guess we haven't been doing burning barrel calls on this episode so far. So, Boyhood, not in the barrel. Not Fade Away, not in the barrel.
Okay,
Twilight Princess, not in the barrel.
you're right about
Crossbow
that.
Training, I don't know because it's like finish playing it and then you might as well throw it in the barrel because there's nothing else to do.
It's
Maybe.
it's like it doesn't even need to be in the barrel. It burned itself out
Or I
instantly.
get, or it's just like put it in the closet or something, and it'll collect dust. And then next time you move, you go,
Closet.
"Oh yeah, I bought this." Right? Like I don't know.
What about
It was fun.
Ghostbuster food?
Real Ghostbusters Alphagetti stuff should probably have gone in the barrel a long time ago, but at this point, it's rare and strange, so don't put it in there.
It's
Also, if it
basically
like popped in the fire, it might make
yeah,
toxic smoke. So watch out.
and it's basically a barrel by
I
itself.
guess it's a
So,
miniature barrel full of
yeah,
weird garbage. Ah, yeah. Anyway,
ArcheAge is not in the barrel either, by the way.
I mean
So
it can't because it's digital, right? But
right, sure. I guess that's a good way to look at it.
upload it to the barrel. Like, yeah, there's no way to really.
Upload it to the. I'm just picturing this barrel outside burning with like an Ethernet cord running into a house.
Or just like there's a screen on the side of the barrel. It's like loading, and you're just like putting something in it, but not really.
That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
I don't know. Yeah, sorry, I just had to kind of go back through. Oh, and I guess Fritz Lang's M I'm not going to put in the barrel, but film historian people who are pompous and might all be dead at this point because it's 2014 and this movie came out like 83 years ago. They can get cremated and stuff. They're done. It's
Sure,
kind of
they've
dark, I
earned it.
guess, but yeah.
Throw their corpses in the barrel.
Oh, hey, speaking of film critics who have passed on, I watched that documentary about Roger Ebert's life
Okay,
itself.
how was it?
It was
Uh-oh.
maybe not as like rewarding as I was hoping. Like
Not as
I've read,
telling?
I've read the book. It's a kind of companion piece to,
Okay.
and like I did appreciate that the movie has much more to say about him and Gene Siskel's kind of dynamic and relationship
Right.
than the book really did. Like there's some stuff about Gene Siskel that Ebert gets into in the book, but because the movie gets to kind of take just like an outside of his head perspective on like them kind of fighting with each other and that kind of stuff, like that's kind of interesting stuff. And it's like, the reason they're popular was that TV show and like them kind of
Right.
having that chemistry, right? So talking about that kind of candidly was interesting stuff. Um I mean, it's kind of just downbeat in that way of just like these are actually his last months, kind of, because they were making this movie and he passed away like mid them making it. So it's kind of like him in the hospital a lot and kind of like in a wheelchair and having trouble like rehabilitating and all this kind of stuff. Like there's just kind of some that's kind of sad stuff. And the same
Oh,
way, well, like the
you
same way
didn't
the
even
book.
sound it. You sounded disingenuous about it
Well,
right there.
I
It's
mean,
like,
it's
oh,
just
that's kind of
hospital
sad.
stuff. Like hospitals are sad places. So if you're gonna shoot footage
Dude,
inside a
don't even
hospital,
talk to. Don't even try to tell
right?
me what
I
you
know.
know about
No,
hospitals.
I'm just saying like it's kind of an
No, yeah.
easy button to push, maybe.
Oh, it's the easiest button to push.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
a motion button. And it's like I've seen this before. I know it's a different person, and it's like this is relevant to my interests and everything, but it was just I don't know. It wasn't quite connecting the way people are really excited about it. Like it's got a lot of critical stuff, but I also feel it's like the weirdest movie to like look to movie critics for advice on because it's like, yeah, this is a friend slash inspirational like role model person is the subject of this in our field about this. Like it's just like,
Hmm.
well, of course you like it. Like this is validating your
Right.
life
Right. Yeah.
inherently. So like it's like no, movie critics are important and can do stuff. Oh, good, because I'm a movie critic, 10 out of 10, and you're just like, yeah, okay. Whereas just like if you're just like Joe on the street, like this movie might not do the best job of like explaining who Roger Ebert was in like an interesting way. Like the first part of the
Oh.
movie is kind of dry about his family and kind of growing up and being in Chicago and all this stuff. The same way I felt like the book kind of didn't really hit its stride until it started talking about stuff that Roger Ebert for, which is like going and criticizing movies and getting in animated conversations about movies. It's just like, oh, this is all the stuff. These are all the personalities that know about him that I wanted to hear about. Like, what was Werner Herzog's take on Roger Ebert? And you're just like, here's Werner Herzog. He's going to talk to you. And it's like, oh yeah. But before that, when it's just kind of like old photos and just a narrator and that kind of stuff, it's very kind of regular documentary. So if you don't already have interest in Roger Ebert, like I don't know if this is the movie to like really explain that to you. Like probably just watch some of his old reviews or something, or read some like blogs or something. I don't know. Like there's other ways to get interested in Roger Ebert. If you're not already on board, this movie is just kind of a sad movie about a guy getting old, and it's that's not fun. Like who would
I
it's hard to recommend. Do you want to see someone like in their last days?
like
Who is
no.
it?
No, I don't.
Yeah, like it's like, is it anybody I know or anything? It's like, well, do you know who Roger Ebert is? No. Okay, well, don't worry about it then. It's like, do you?
Yeah.
Do you? Yes. Okay, well, get ready because this is kind of sad, but this guy kind of did a lot for movie criticism and stuff. Like, yeah, there was stuff I enjoyed about it, but I don't know. It's like in I guess a context of like favorite noteworthy movies of the year kind of thing. Like it wasn't like, oh, guaranteed spot, amazing. It was like, yeah, like I'm glad I saw it, but it's
Sure.
it didn't
Yeah.
really transcend or anything. It was just
Right.
okay. So documentary,
I am
pretty
I
straightforward.
I am 3D Homer in the chat saying best things Roger Ebert ever wrote were two blog posts from after he had lost his jaw. One was about how great makeouts are, and the other was about eating.
Oh, okay, I could see that. Like in the
I
book, he
can't
kind of
tell
gets.
if he's being like sarcastic or if he's not a fan or
No,
like what.
I could see those being very dry, funny kind of articles. Like, he had a humor to him that in his final kind of stuff when he's basically talking like Stephen Hawking with a computer and stuff, like it doesn't really, it's not the same. The archive footage of it is kind of still cool.
Okay, the
But
blog post in question was from January 6, 2010, and it's called Nail by Mouth.
okay, there you go. Read that, and if you like that, continue down the path, and eventually you'll watch this movie. Maybe I don't know. I'm not gonna put it in the barrel, but it's like it's not.
Okay.
You know, you must see this. It doesn't have that quality. Uh, I guess yeah. That actually brings me back. The Conjuring. I watched that again.
Okay, I still haven't seen it the first time.
Okay, I think I can still say it's definitely worth seeing the first time. I don't know if it has that kind of rewarding on second viewing kind of quality of just like, oh man, this is so fun to watch, or like, oh, there's all this stuff. It's just like, no, it's kind of just a haunted house movie. Like it's good at doing that, but once you've seen it once, like you know when all the surprises and all the scares are and stuff, like it's not gonna. There's nothing else in there for you to really appreciate other than like a couple of decent performances and whatever. But it's still kind of I don't know. I was a little maybe like I remembered it in a much fonder way than upon watching it again. I was just like, oh, this was what I was so excited about like a year ago. Okay,
Hispanic
yeah.
at the Disco says it's scary.
First time, yeah. I guess sort of. Okay, actually, this kind of brings me to a thing that a conversation I was like in on Reddit yesterday that didn't really go anywhere, but it was someone basically asking, so I just watched The Exorcist. Why did anyone think this was scary? And I was just like, yeah, I know, right? Like, I don't get it either. Do do you think a part of it was just like if you actually think demons are real and possession can happen, this movie will scare you. If you are pretty sure and firm in your belief that this is all kind of horseshit, it'll just be like, well, that kid is cursing and her head spins around and she walks like a spider. But okay, like it's
With my
really
experiences recently, I would have been like, that bitch needs meds.
yeah, or it's just like mental illness is actually the real like you need
Yeah,
to go to the
like
doctor.
mental illness is a serious thing. It should not be joked about with all this demon and god talk. You should
Right.
really get this checked out.
Yeah, whereas like all the movies kind of have that moment where it's like, no, see, clearly supernatural stuff's going on. Like the bed is floating, or like the chair spins around, and whatever. And you're just like, okay, like this has crossed the line from like based on a true story into complete and utter horseshit for your entertainment, and that's kind of not. That's not fair. I don't know. That's it doesn't really get me. Like it's like
Hmm.
this has crossed a line into kind of just lower brow territory of just like, it's an easy pull. Like it's just scaring ignorant people. Because I'm so educated, I can't deal with that anymore. You know, like I'm so
Right.
high minded and like smart and everything. Can't watch
Right.
this. I'm trying to be facetious, but it actually just sounds douchey when I'm hearing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So I don't
Trust
know.
me, it's douchey when I'm hearing it too.
Did you ever
Chat,
see
go ahead
that?
and confirm if it's douchey.
Okay, The Shining is
Yeah.
still a good movie just on its own. It's not
Yes.
like, oh, it's scary every time. It's like, well, no, it's just a good, thick atmosphere movie. Like, it's just a good movie. I can appreciate this
Yes.
movie over and over. I can appreciate
Ogre and
documentaries
ogre.
about it over and over again. Ogre and ogre, like, either way. But this, I guess I was kind of hoping, like, oh, this is the new that. And it's like, no, it's not. Like, maybe it's the new Exorcist, but I never thought that was that great either. So, I don't know. I don't know. It's just horror movies. Once you get into just demon possession and stuff like it's just like, okay, that's not things. Like there's a movie called Ouija coming out, but Ouija boards, spooky stuff. I don't know. Walrus Men, like there's a movie about that coming out.
Tusk.
Yeah, like
Kevin
that's getting.
Smiths.
I know.
Have Have you
Haley Joel
heard?
Osment.
I don't know if you like listen to their like the
I don't
Smog
listen to
Co
Smog
stuff.
stuff, not anymore. No.
Okay. They're like intro.
Smodcast, right? Okay.
Yeah, their intro like ad thing now is just for Tusk basically, and it's the like some audio from there or
Uh-huh.
whatever. It's basically like an audio trailer sort of thing.
Is it just
And
Justin Long screaming a lot?
yeah, it basically is. And,
Okay.
and
That
it's
was the
also like,
trailer.
I don't want to die in Canada or whatever. Like, it's basically that. It's the audio from that. And
Okay.
they're just like, from writer, filmmaker, and podcaster Kevin Smith. And it's like, podcaster, really? Like, that's
Mhm.
something to be proud of. We're
That's in
fucking
the
doing.
trailer too.
It's so
But
fucking
but
dumb.
it's
That's so
about
stupid.
podcasters. That's
I
what I
know, but
kind
it's
of
still
like.
fucking
It's
stupid.
like,
Yeah, that it's about it, but when you're just like, from filmmaker and podcaster Kevin Smith, it's like, fuck off, you fucking retards.
really? Okay. He's like
It
legitimizing new medias.
that have been around for years before he got his hands into it by people
It's
that
true.
probably should be recognized more, like tech community people, but they're not. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's a
Hmm.
non-issue. But
Okay.
yeah,
I
I
know
don't.
it's playing at TIFF and stuff this week, so it's been getting some talk around, but I'm not at the Toronto International Film Festival, so I have no idea how any of that stuff is.
We should go
Really? I
like next
like
time.
sometime. I've been kind of idly thinking I should go to one of them sometime just to see, but I mean, it's kind of annoying the way film festivals are structured because it's like a couple week affair at theaters all over the city. So it's like, do you want to live in Toronto for like 3 weeks? Like, it's like you have to plan for a lot of staying in Toronto. And I don't know that I
Yeah,
really know anybody to just crash on their couch or something.
I do.
So, okay, well, fantastic. Because I was like, 2 weeks of hotels is a lot just to
It's a
go
lot
see
of money.
movies like 2 months
Unless you're
early.
getting paid to do it because that's your job.
Yeah.
In which
Again,
case it
business
still sucks.
license,
Two
expensing everything.
weeks. It's still expensive though. Like,
It is. It is.
yeah.
Hmm.
Anyways, so what else you got? You got anything else?
Zelda stuff.
What about your thoughts on government?
The government. Actually, I
Oh,
was
dude,
just.
there's
Oh,
actually something going on with our government.
what do you mean? What?
Stephen Harper signed a thing where China can like veto any of our governmental policies that doesn't agree with their shareholders.
What? That's not good.
Right? No, that's really,
What?
really bad.
Why would you surrender your own decision-making abilities to another
You know,
country?
I, d- I
Is it
didn't.
only is this only on like specific issues pertaining to like trading with China
I believe
stuff?
so. But that's still really bad.
Like it's
That
like,
is still
oh,
super bad.
here is the upper hand, China. Have fun with that. Yeah, that's weird, I guess.
I don't
But
know.
okay.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever read. I'm gonna try to look up the
Hmm.
gonna try to look up the news story about it. I was trying to read a little bit more as to like what we got out of it, like why you would do that, and it just seems like he's being a douche, maybe?
It's just like that's
I
just a
don't know.
bad deal all over. Why would you? I don't know anything about it. I just yeah, politics. I was just updating my Facebook profile for the first time in a long time. And when I got to the politics section, I was just like, I just don't really know. I don't really have ambitions in the political sphere. I don't have like people I'm like, yeah, like I just I don't y'all stop fighting. Is that a political affiliation? Like just stop with the violence. I don't know. Like stop being dicks
Okay, I'm
on
gonna
a
just
giant level.
I'm gonna go ahead and read this article headline and maybe some stuff from it, okay?
Okay.
Because this is I don't know. I don't know if this is even true. It's from like the Vancouver Observer.
Okay, I was about to be like, does the webs like what is the website? Are we sure it's a validated thing? But okay. Vancouver
Okay.
Observer says,
Harper okays potentially unconstitutional China-Canada FIPA deal coming into force October 1st.
that's pretty soon. It's in like 2 weeks.
So
Okay.
I'll read the first couple things here. It's official. Prime Minister Stephen Harper has approved the controversial Canada-China Foreign Investment Promotion and Protection Agreement, FIPA, today. In a short two-paragraph news release, International Trade Minister Ed Fast said the deal was now ratified. It will come into force October 1st, blah, 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 and will be effective for 31 years until 2045. The original investment protection deal, which treaty law expert Gus Van Harten said could be in violation of the Canadian Constitution, was quietly signed in 2012 in Vladivostok, Russia, but was delayed for 2 years. So Chinese companies can sue Canada now with this. So
That can sue
as FIPA,
Canada, like the Canadian government or Canada companies, like
okay, so as FIPA comes
Canadian
into force,
companies.
it would have major impacts on projects such as Enbridge North Gateway and potentially some LNG proposals. The deal would allow Chinese investors to sue British Columbia if it changed course on the Northern Gateway pipeline proposal. So
Oh
if British
no,
so
no.
if British Columbia was like, we don't want this giant pipeline going through here, China could be like, you pay now, you give us money now. Like they could sue them.
Well, it's weird because it seems to be a way to just be kind of like, no matter what I say, I can't force my position on this. So I'm gonna try to get China to put some pressure on too,
It's
and see
gross.
if we can make this happen. Because yeah, the Northern Gateway pipeline stuff. I'm assuming that's what that is, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that kind of controversial pipeline that's been in the talks
Yeah.
for years and years. Yeah, okay, that's quite the thing. Oil.
Yeah.
I I want one of them electric automobiles if I could, but I got a free car that burns gas real bad, so
Like
I'm a hypocrite.
who would have thought that not only like first of all the oil causing the Americans to like lose their mind and go over and kill a bunch of innocent people and guilty people, I'll give them that, in a
Yeah.
country they don't belong in, is now basically saying making the Canadian leaders say, "Here, take like all of our rights, China." What the fuck? If anything, why wouldn't we sign this with the states? Because for one thing, if something goes wrong, like obviously they're batshit crazy enough to go attack any other country that fucks with it anyway. But
Mm-hmm.
more importantly, they they are like it benefits them too. Like they're right beside us. There's like trade agreements and stuff. Why China out of all people? It's weird.
Well, I mean, they're big economic power. I mean, it all sounds like financial
Economic.
pressures kind of
It
stuff.
sounds fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
I don't keep up with these things because I mean, at some point it's just so outside of my sphere of things I do or have impact on that it's just like I don't really want to know, but okay, ignorance is bliss. Like, I gonna be sued by China for just doing my thing? Hopefully not. That'd be
I don't
weird.
know. It depends if they get their stuff to Bangkok on time through our airline, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, okay. Through the context of our job, I guess we have a little more in oil field equipment every single week. But anyway, can't really elaborate stuff. That's weird. I don't know. News. I can't I don't watch the news. I don't read
No, like
world news.
I know very little about it as well. It was just that I was just like, "What's your thoughts on government?" And then I remembered, oh, there's actually something really bad going on right now.
Right. So wait, is it actually okay? So a lot of the stuff I see on online is like, hey, write your congressman about this internet sanctity thing or about this senator or whatever. Like this is a Canada thing, so can I write anyone that has anything that can
Actually,
do anything?
there is an online petition to stop.
But like a
But
real petition, not like
yeah,
a
no, it's done by the NDP. The
okay.
like the for people
Nash.
that don't know, the NDP is the Democratic Party that is the exact opposite of the Conservatives, which is in power. That Stephen Harper leads. So they're the opposition.
Yeah, okay.
So like, first of all, of course they want this to not happen because they hate like that Harper's in there in the
Conservative.
first place.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
more importantly, they're just like, oh, this is like a good way to get people on our side, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, okay, so there's actually something normal Joe Blow Canadians who just want to go watch their movies and play their video games can actually be like,
No,
"Hey, whoa, stop doing that. I don't China isn't Korea. I think you guys maybe made a mistake. Korea is the one doing all the cool shit. China doesn't. I mean, they make iPads for us and get cancer by working at Foxconn. That was a story I read this week, but
I
it's
actually
debatable.
just signed the petition.
Okay, it's that easy, folks.
Mm.
ArcheAge launch podcast. Make a stand for
I'm gonna
FIPA.
tweet it out too for all the Canadians in the house.
Oh wait, this link in the chat is just ArcheAge. Leomorphs. Leomorphs don't want to deal with China. So
you know why?
there we go.
China don't care.
China don't care.
You know,
I
that
never
thing.
I never really got that. Like thought that was that.
I don't
funny.
remember.
Like the context of that specific bombcast bit. But I like that show. Wow. Circa 2011.
Yeah.
It was really good. It's really good. Okay, I'm signing this petition right now. Politics cast.
The funniest part about that, why I laughed when you were talking, was I'm 3D Homer said, and then Paul was sued by China for his impersonation.
You pay right now. It's just like, all right, first lawsuit going in the mail.
That's why I was
Get
laughing.
a letter.
The first Canadian to be sued.
Yeah. No, do not sign me up for general NDPE updates.
Yeah. I had to make sure that I unclicked that as well.
Like, just downloading Skype again, it's like, hey, do you want to set this as your homepage? Hey, do you want to make Bing, like, your website of choice? And I was like, no, I don't. Help spread
You
this
want to
campaign.
make Bing your bitch?
I guess I could tweet and whatever, but
Right. Anyways,
that's
so that's what's actually happening with our politics, I guess. I didn't really mean to go off on that about that because I know very little about it, but that's not a good thing.
Going back a bit, speaking of Kijiji, I bought a bunch of laser discs on there.
Right. You did.
And I don't. I guess so. I really like collecting the Criterion Collection stuff. I love that there's like this elite kind of the best of the best kind of thing out there. Right. That said, I don't watch, like, I have a bunch of stuff that I haven't watched that I just like, yeah, I got the Criterion of that. I don't really care about it though, but it's got this cool box and like a number on it. So yeah, like that's basically like I made a conscious choice to watch Fritz Lang's M today because I was like, I need to like increase the number of these I've actually watched versus not. And honestly, before I put it in, I thought it was in English because Peter Lorre's in it and he's been in a lot of American films. So I was just like, okay, well this will go down smooth. Oh, it's all subtitled in German. Okay, well I'm already on the path. Let's just keep going.
Do you hate German people?
No, I am.
Oh.
I have German background.
Okay.
Yeah, no, so I don't. It's just like I do like movies. I have a film minor. I've made a conscious effort to like try to be a film person. That said, it is a chore to watch like a long foreign movie that I've never seen before. Like it's not the same as just kicking back with like a movie I like or like a TV show I like. It's like, okay, it's kind of serious. Class has started. Let's watch this movie that will probably not be entertaining, but might be edifying in some way. And that's usually how it goes. Occasionally you get both, and that's when it's awesome. But yeah, like there's a movie that kind of came close I watched this week called House of Games. It's David Mamet's like first directing film. Joe Mantegna's in it. Okay. David Mamet, do you know who that is? Okay. He wrote Glengarry Glen Ross. Also, The Untouchables.
About that. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll just like pretty quickly. It's kind of a clever idea. It's about con men, and it's basically just like con men and how they kind of run things and like crooked poker games and like long cons and all this stuff. The thing that's wrong with that movie is David Mamet cast his wife in the lead role, and she is not very good. And it's like, no, I get why you cast her, but she's just not that compelling of a main character, and that's just a fact. So it's like, it was weird because it was like, as the story's unfolding, you're like, I am seeing like like objectively, this is a well-written screenplay with clever twists and good ideas, but man, these actors just aren't selling it. Like it's good, but it's not like it's a good idea, it's a good foundation with like bad execution, and it's just like I get that this is a Criterion edition, and I get why because it's like, oh, William H Macy's in it, and he's like really young, and David Mamet, this was like his first thing, and he became pretty significant later, and like yeah, but as like a movie, it's like, oh no, you don't need to really track this one out. I wonder if I should put it in the barrel. Do you think I should put it in the barrel? Like it's kind of not good. I haven't put anything in the barrel this week, so
Do it.
I'm gonna
Throw it
actually.
in.
All right. Sorry, David Mamet. You got better later.
It sounds like a funny like reversal of The Good Night, where it's just like really good actors, but like a shit like sub like plot or director or something.
Yeah.
Where it's like this is
right.
just like a good idea and director, but shit actor.
Yeah, I guess it's like,
pretty
man,
good.
we got this cast of heavyweights, but God, this is just the worst idea. Where it's like, this is a great idea, but these are not heavyweight actors, and I can see that. Like, really, it's the main lady, like Lindsay Krause, I think her name is. She's actually been in tons of stuff subsequently, but not the leading role material, really, or just, or maybe the character's just supposed to be like so severe and serious, and just that's just not fun to watch. Either way, like some of the dialogue just is not sold by these performances, and that's kind of my biggest beef with it. But anyway, Criterion Collection, not all winners, but they got that number on the spine and like classy art. Well, so I love having them.
I don't necessarily think Criterion is trying to go for winners so much as movies that have tried to do something different with the medium at some point.
I guess so. Like it's like these movies were ambitious. Maybe they failed, but we want to make sure they're preserved and don't fade away. And you're just like, okay, that's cool. So that's part of it too, I guess. But sometimes they're just not very fun to watch. Like there's like movies I have that I bought. Like to be clear, a lot of these I bought in like Blockbuster is closing, and these are all severely discounted. And I was just like, oh sweet, and I was just like indiscriminately buying like everything. And it's just like I have a 3-hour movie called Yi Yi, which is from China, and it's 3 hours long, and I don't know what it's about, but I have it. Awesome. And it's just like, when are you gonna watch that? I don't know. There's a lot of things I want to do first with my life, but like eventually that could happen. So I'm just gonna keep them safe. So Criterion got its start on Laserdisc.
Yes.
And in 1984, they started making like special edition Laserdiscs, and there was a bunch I had no idea were actually like Criterion editions of these movies existed. I was like, 2001: Space Odyssey, what? Akira, Doctor Strangelove, and I was just like looking up on Wikipedia like list of all Criterion Laserdiscs, and it was like, no, dude, these are all real. And I was like, I need to have this right now. So I was like, this guy's in Thornhill, Ontario, though. So it was like, you need to like ship these to me. He's like, okay, actually, there's another guy who wants to buy these, and he will be by next week to pick them up. So if he doesn't, though, I'll let you know. And then this is the first time I've basically just been like, how much money do you want to make that not be what happens, and instead I have them?
Oh, man.
Like, I was just like, what is the number? Give me a number. And I was just like,
dude,
I just threw down money.
Were like that guy that's just like, there's a lot of numbers I could write on this check, which is yours.
And you slide over the piece of paper, and it's just like, what do you want? Like, I was just like, I have to be the one that has this. And I felt really happy about it, that it panned out, because I was just like, money talks is kind of, it happened this week. I actually just used money to make things go my way.
Originally, this box of Laserdisc, how much was he selling it for to that guy?
He was selling it for $75, which was like, I was pretty like, wow, that's a great deal. Like, I want that.
Sure. Yeah.
So I mean,
are you willing to say the number, or can we just say, was it more or less than double that?
It was more than double that. It was, and I'm not sure how the percentages break down though, because Laserdiscs are huge. They're like this big. And
Yeah.
30 plus of those is like a box of records
You should
that
have
you're
just told him to throw it on WestJet. I'll pick it up at work.
But it's like if you're gonna be shipping those, like that's probably a good amount of the
Oh,
cost,
dude.
right?
Now that I'm thinking about it, you could totally just ship it through WestJet
What? I guess I
to
didn't want to
us.
like complicate things. I was just like,
We've done
that
that
is your
before.
field. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't really like want to make demands on like the shipping end of it. I was just like, if you're willing to sell these to me, I would be really happy because I'd want them more than that guy. I guarantee it, kind of thing. And yeah,
Well, no, I'm saying you could use it as leverage, being like, listen,
actually, I have a
I
cheap
can
shipping
take
method
care,
too, so
I can
your
take
cut
care
could
of the
be better.
shipping. You just have to drop it off to this location,
Oh,
which is kind of
okay.
shady as fuck now that I think about it.
No, it kind of is, yeah. So I didn't want to get. I was even like, oh, should I be negotiating this business on the side at work on my phone? I don't know, but whatever. So yeah, that was kind of thing. So ultimately, I don't know how much was just greasing the wheels money versus shipping money, but it was 4 times as much as that. It was $300. So yeah, I bought in big on Laserdisc. I needed them. I needed to have it. Akira is on Criterion. I didn't know that, and now I have it. In theory, provided they survive the trip. Disposable income, man. What? Are you mad?
You mad, bro?
Mad, bro? I bought a bunch of old video technology discs, and I'm happy about it. Yeah, it's gonna be fun going through my new treasures. But here's the dumbest part of the whole thing. I don't own a Laserdisc player, so that's my next step.
Dude, I looked up a Laserdisc printer on Kijiji, and someone was selling one for like $800.
No, I know. There's like a local one that is also some sort of weird Sega console and a Laserdisc player. And he's just like, this price is absolutely firm. I will not move on it at all. $800.
Yeah.
And I was just like, 800? Well, no, I should. Like, yeah, it's just like, I don't know what the market is for this yet. So we've started kind of checking some local stores and stuff. Turns out dated video technology that nobody wants isn't like hot on the shelves, you know?
No.
There's a lot of Blu-ray players right now, but it's like, no, I got that covered. I want
Yeah.
1980s technology, please. That's what I want. I want to be a video file circa 1989. Can you meet my needs on that front?
I want to go back to this deal where you
Yeah.
paid 4 times the amount somebody was asking.
Yeah,
Because
I was just
I've
like,
I've personally never done this where it's just like, what's your number? Like,
Yeah.
everybody has a number. What's yours? Like, I've never been that guy, so I need to know how this went down. So you were just like, oh,
well, this is just
oh,
email exchanges, right? It wasn't
when
like
he
on the
okay,
phone.
but when he's like emailed you and said, actually, you know what, this other guy is interested, he's gonna come by and pick him up, so sorry or whatever. What was your
Yeah.
response?
My response was just, like, it was just like, I can't remember the phrasing, but basically in it I said, look, I'm not trying to like sell these for profit or anything. I am just a video enthusiast who wants to own these for my own collection. I am willing to pay whatever it takes to like for the convenience, the inconvenience of changing like making this awkward for you by saying no to that other offer.
Okay.
What just tell me what it is and that is fine. Like you have sold
And
me.
what did he respond with?
It was basically like, okay, I'm looking into shipping information for you. What is your postal code so I can get an estimate on that? Then there was
Okay.
that, and then he came back with the final number, and I was basically like, I don't know what this number is gonna be, because like I might be really bothering this dude, and he could like really try to gouge me on this. But I have basically stolen this business from this other guy. I need to just follow through with whatever it is. So hopefully it's not that ridiculous. So when he came back with 300, I was like, my mind went further into Crazy Town.
Like,
so
when?
that is fine.
Where?
I was like,
Where?
I wasn't even sure. I was just like, he could say 4, he could say 5. I have to follow through. I have said
What were you?
money's
What were
no
you
option.
willing to pay?
I would go 500 at some point, just for pride, just to be able to do it, just to
Jesus
say it's
Fucking
okay.
Christ.
What? Just be like, no, those are mine.
So.
No. This is no.
Have you thought, when you were thinking this thought process, were you thinking, how am I going to tell the other person in that room over there that I'm not paying rent this month because I bought
No,
a bunch of 30-year-old movies.
I already did. I've set aside some money for the trip coming up, so it was actually not that big a
Right.
deal. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, I already had paid my rent for this month, and I don't know. She's actually been really like we're actively looking for Laserdisc players and stuff now. Like we're kind of in this dumb journey together. So, Video Odyssey into the past.
You know, Ryan Davis loved Laserdisc.
I do know that, and that did play a role in my decision to start this in the first place. That's why I started looking for players, and then when I saw this giant lot of like Criterion ones, I was like, that is the other magic word. So yes, 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 yes. Give me all of these things. Also, the Godfather trilogy, I finally own it now in the form it was meant to be seen in, Laserdisc. Laserdiscs are also crazy convenient because you have to flip them partway through the movie.
I know, they're terrible technology. They're the worst.
They were the best until 1996 or whatever, right? Like, it was as good as it got for a while. So I'm still okay with this.
They were the future, honestly, at that time.
Yeah, it's like if you were really, really passionate about movies looking as good as they could at the time, Laserdisc was the way. You weren't playing with tapes if this was, serious. But yeah, it's a bit. I mean, I've been kind of for the last little while, I've been kind of thinking more and more about just having this like weird old technology room where it's just like old TV, old videos. Like, no internet is in this room. It is just 1980.
What you want to do is you want to recreate the Angry Video Game nerd room into an Angry Movie Guy nerd room. Basically.
Sure. Or, like, kind of have a balancing of it. I actually was thinking about it of having just, like, a wall of cartridges on one side and a wall of Laserdiscs and videos on the other. And just, like, physical media zone. And you just, like, sit down with your... Like, I also want a multi-monitor setup of just, like, I could have... like one movie playing here, and one here, and just have movies playing, and then actually be playing Zelda over here. Like, just be stupid about it.
I remember there was a point where the coolest thing ever was I had an extra television, like one of those big stupid CRT ones that are heavy and bothersome to move.
Yeah.
And I found like a stool or like a little side desk or something. And I put that in our family computer room so I could watch Die Hard while I played StarCraft on my 56K modem.
Mixing medias, dude. It's the new way.
It was the best. Like, now that's no problem because on this one monitor that I'm pointing at here is my game. And then this one right here with, like, this other stuff on it can be a movie or a TV show playing at all times. Like, it's not an issue now. But at that time... like, I would actually have to physically turn and, like, watch the part of Die Hard I wanted to see, and then turn back and then do my macroing and all this other StarCraft
For a while in Braeside, we had kind of the big entertainment center, and then my TV was kind of just a bonus TV. So, yeah, I could totally do the, like, I am playing Spelunky, and whatever I want is happening on this other screen. So it's just, like, live streams or, like, movies or whatever. It's just, like, yeah, I can just do both.
It's a weird tactile experience when they're giant things and not just two slim monitors beside each other.
Yeah, yeah. Like
it's weird.
Like, and I mean, with some of this old technology, like it's dying now. So it's like if I want like vintage old CRTs, like they are failing. So I need to get in on this stupid market that no one wants right now if I'm going to do it and carry it up two flights of stairs. I don't know how far we'll go, but yeah, I have just kind of vague plans in my head about, like, I like collecting old stuff, and it's like, I don't know if there is a lot of affection for kind of bad technology that has been replaced with better things, but it's just something about it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Something to look for. I don't know. But yeah, I get to add once they're here and I ensure they're all in good shape, I get to update my Criterion Collection online profile with all these weird out-of-print ones. And that process alone, I'm pretty happy about. Just have a big record box full of new stuff and just be like, I got Doctor Strange though. Just video nerd. Yeah, no, it's fun. So yeah, that was kind of the big triumph of this week. I think that's the highlight. I'm gonna say that was my week.
Okay, cool. See, it's weird because when you're just like, that's a highlight of my week, like most people are just like, it's Monday. That but this is your weekend right now. So
no, yeah, this is day 2 of the weekend. So A long weekend too, so it's fun.
Long weekend.
Yeah. Well, 3 days. For most people, that's weird.
Oh, I was gonna say because I think it's next weekend. That's the actual long weekend. Or no, we had the long weekend 2 weeks ago.
No, I'm saying for us, we just get 3 days.
No, I was talking about like actual like stat holiday. I think it was like
No.
2 weeks ago. Okay,
Labor Day. Yeah, but
I got confused.
oh, I guess also like to. No, whatever. It's fine. I got
Oh,
this.
what is it?
It's Eagle Rare. It's bourbon.
Wait
I
a
bought
minute.
that. Yep.
Wasn't that Ryan Davis as
This
well?
is his favorite drink. This is his favorite drink.
Fuck you. You're trying to
Fine.
become Ryan Davis. Motherfucker, out of both of us, I at least look like him.
It's true. Yep. But I don't know. I went down to the liquor store and just
Like-
didn't have.
You're gonna have to add like 200 pounds to even get close.
It's true. No, I'm not.
Yeah, you're
Just
gonna
the
die in
media
your sleep
habits.
if you try that.
I know.
Yeah.
So I just want the media and drinking habits, not all of it.
You don't want the drinking habit.
I don't want the
You
drinking
just want-
habits. I haven't even opened it yet, but it's
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's a milestone thing.
You should bring it to work and we'll have a drink at
I can't bring that to work. It's like 45%. It is 45%.
I know. Like it's enough alcohol to be considered a dangerous good.
It was locked up in like a glass thing. It was one of those ones. So yeah.
How much is a bottle of that? I've never had it.
$65.
Okay. Yeah, so standard like higher quality liquor
Yeah.
price. Okay.
You
I
can
was
buy a
wondering
Mark
if it was
8 or that.
No, yeah, like I was wondering if it was a higher end like up to the 90s to 100 sort of thing, but it's regular. That's fine. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Cool.
Qu-
So that's it for you.
Voicemails, or do you have
There's-
some
yeah.
to report?
There's nothing. I can report on one thing that I'm doing this week.
Okay.
We're talking Gamergate this week. I have a bunch of
you're
people
actually
lined up.
got people lined up to weigh in on. Okay.
I do.
Who's on the panel? I guess. Who's
Like
going to be chiming in?
you know what? I didn't mention them by name on Twitter just because I didn't know. But like I'll mention it here because whatever, people can't just easily click on their name and harass them here. They'd have to look them up anyway.
Well,
if
they
they
don't
wanted
even
to do
know.
that.
Okay, they don't even know their stance yet. So why would they start harassing right away?
See,
I
the
know
problem
that's the
with
nature of internet arguing, but don't do that. That's so bad. Don't do
Yeah.
that. Listen to the
Okay.
conversation first.
So one of the first people I got is, do you remember that video that's like talking about like what is and isn't a game, or like the term isn't a game?
What do you mean? Like on our site? Was it one of the things we got, or
No, it was something that went out about it was specifically about the tag isn't a game or whatever on Steam.
oh, on okay, yeah, like when that
and
was,
how they
like,
got rid of
Gone
that.
Home and like probably To the Moon and stuff was getting flagged with isn't a game.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the dude that does that, his series or whatever that he does online is called Action Points, but he also writes for a site called Gather Your Party.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Mark, and he
Yeah.
is what I would call a gaming journalist critic.
Mm-hmm.
Not like for games, but for the journalism industry sort of thing. Like most of his stuff
pieces in
focuses
newspapers and stuff, or like just sites that
No,
aren't
just-
gaming
just
sites.
online stuff, but criticizing like maybe games journalism should have more of a humanitarian stance, or maybe they should like look at this stuff better. Maybe they should stay away from developers more. Like I don't like the word criticize, even though like that's what a critic does, because it
Mhm.
has a bad connotation. But he likes to have these open discourses about like maybe we should look at how this thing's going or whatever, because there might be some shady dealings. There like maybe calling something not a game is better for the industry as a whole because it diminishes or empowers what you would call a game and diminishes like maybe something that is actually just basically a point and click story that you just
Mhm.
like watch. So like this is what he does. So he's one of them. Another person is Lauren, who was harassed about that stuff that happened, I think 2 years ago now, maybe 3 even.
Right, Eurogamer kind of stuff. Like
The
it was,
Eurogamer stuff, the Robert Florence stuff.
yeah. We
Yeah,
talked to her on an older episode, right?
but we didn't talk about that specifically because it was still too fresh,
Oh
and
yeah,
she
yeah. It
was
was just kind
legally
of
obliged to not make comments on it.
yeah.
Like,
We didn't want to make an like that's the thing everyone was talking to her about, right? So it's just like, how about just a normal conversation about video games?
well, I mean, I
But,
talked to
yeah.
her about it before we recorded that,
Hmm.
like off air and stuff, just as a friend, and I thought like there was some interesting stuff going on there, and a lot of stuff that was skewed and not published from her side, which I
Hmm.
found kind of gross when I was reading other stories about it. But then it's kind of like that unfair bias where I have insider information that I can't say about what happened there. So I think she's finally going to talk a little bit about her experiences from that in
Okay.
relation to like games journalism and being too close, like because that's what she got pinned for by being too close to Square Enix or whatever, even though she's notoriously a Tomb Raider fan. So of course
Yeah.
Square Enix would want her,
Hmm.
right, to do stuff for them. But anyway, so her, we talked to Regina from
Yeah.
Game On Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's lined up. Handsome fat man Carlos.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is a devout feminist, even though he's male.
Okay.
Like, you might even say radical feminist.
She's got like a sign and he goes around and pickets
No, I wouldn't
things.
say that, but
I
like
don't know what to like characterize it as, but okay.
with the Gamergate stuff going on, he's been extraordinarily vocal against Gamergate for misogyny and
Oh.
that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
So I thought it
Hmm.
would be good to have. I thought it was an interesting. His would be an interesting perspective in more than 140 characters, like through voice. I'd want him to talk about this
Yeah.
stuff
Okay.
because, for one thing, he's male, so he's literally on the opposite side of like being a personal thing for him because he's not a woman, but he
Hmm.
also has the feminist ideologies and stuff like that. So it thought it'd be a little cool there.
Hmm.
Um, Jennifer, I don't know if you met her. She's a indie developer here in Calgary. One of
Oh, I think she might have been at some of the events I was at, but okay. Okay.
extraordinarily vocal and about the whole Gamergate thing, but
Is
she
anyone on the panel like actually really upset about the corruption angle, like the other angle, like the oh, this is actually no, this should happen, like this is bad, like Kotaku should be dismantled, like all this kind of the other side, where it's like yeah, it's misogynist, but this is important, like for like game criticism needs to be held to a higher standard, like that kind of stuff,
they
or
like arguably they all are
yeah,
because they
okay,
all want to like especially Mark because that's what he's been doing. His content is criticizing how game coverage is being done.
okay.
So he's extraordinarily critical of it himself.
Right. I guess like I don't know, like you can't really just reach out to like, well, I'm a misogynist pig and I hate women. But my take on this is like it's like no
You
one's
know,
gonna be
if they were
reasonable.
well spoken enough and had enough
Yeah.
like ideology behind them where they could talk about it without just being bigoted and hateful with everything they said,
Yeah.
I would love to talk to somebody like that. That would be
Right.
absolutely fantastic.
But I don't know like who is a noteworthy person that is taking that stance in a remotely rational way. Like yeah, it's not even
It's
yeah,
just not
okay.
happening.
I'm gonna find the
Um,
angriest, most downvoted comment on Reddit and then PM that guy and be like, "Hey, you should talk on a podcast," and then just
yeah,
invite them on your behalf. And no, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah.
sure.
It's like, oh, this guy got banned from every gaming subreddit. This guy is probably great. There
There's
you go.
one specific person I reached out to, but he hasn't gotten back to me, so I don't know. But
Can't
I would love to
advertise
talk
that
to
he
him.
doesn't. Okay.
He was Mundane Matt. He goes by. So
Okay.
he was a YouTuber with like maybe like 30 people watching him when I started following him because he did a
Mm-hmm.
video on Coney 2012 and how people should stop following blindly on stupid shit that pulls on heartstrings. Back when
Okay.
that happened, and that video was like what I saw, but that also blew him up a little bit. And then
Okay.
he went the angle that the amazing atheist went for a while, and he started just making videos about like controversial topics and being an asshole about it. So that got him a
Okay.
little bit of internet infamy. And then he was just like, then at some point he did a video. He's just like, listen, like, I don't know what headspace I was in when I was doing that stuff. I just kind of wanted like the views and the fame and stuff. And this was the easy way to do it. I was starting to say stuff that I didn't even believe. Like, I'm sorry for that. So he's gotten back down to earth a little bit. And he's been following this Gamergate thing from the very beginning. And he actually knows like very specifically names and like Twitter handles and stuff of how this has gone. He's like, he can like give out a timeline.
Okay. Like who said
So,
what when, and when did this start snowballing?
also,
And
the funny thing is, because I started talking to him a long time ago before he started getting like thousands and thousands of people, I was actually surprised when I saw that he has like 13,000 people following him now on Twitter, because he had like less than me like a year ago or 2 years ago. So he blew up in a big way. And the funny thing is, he has worked in Hollywood and in like game journalism and stuff as a freelancer. And that's why he doesn't give his name out. I actually know his real first and last name, what he looks like, and everything, because I started talking to him a long time ago. So,
okay.
but I'll never say that because that's super rude. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna expose
I'm
him.
gonna dox that guy.
But like, I looked
blow
up his other
spot.
Twitter accounts, like his personal work Twitter, and like he did another podcast that was just like what we used to do, or like what TDP does about just video games and stuff like that. And like those have like maybe 1,000 people following it or whatever. And like this mundane Matt persona thing that he did just like blew up and has like 13 to 15,000 as we speak right now. So it's just kind of funny that he finally made it, but he can't give out his name now because he said some really inflammatory shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nature of the beast. But okay.
So I have a feeling
When
that
is this
because
though? Like
this week. It'll be happening whenever the talk with Lauren and Jennifer, I believe, is happening Thursday, because
oh,
that
this
is
is
the first day.
multiple things. It's not just one big giant mess.
The problem is that Lauren is in the UK.
Yeah.
She is 7 hours ahead of us. So scheduling with her and somebody else was fine. But then Mark was like, dude, like, I have a job. Like, I can't just be off at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Thursday to talk about this stuff. I was just like, understandable, maybe Saturday or whatever. So that's what's happening now. And then I was a little scared at first, but I was just like, hey, #Gamergate, got questions that we should talk about on this podcast? Send them to my Ask FM. So I started getting a bunch of questions on my Ask FM about Gamergate, like one after another, like that.
Oh man. So, okay.
And
all right.
I was surprised because they are all very thought-provoking and very good questions from both sides, which is fantastic to see. None of them have been
caps, like hashtag.
I was expecting to see, so how much do you want to kill Anita? Like, I was expecting to see something like that, and none of them even name names that have to do with any of this stuff, which is great. Like, that's fantastic. And it makes me wonder why both sides can't have a normal conversation if it seems like the ones that want to know stuff are doing so in a way that they actually want some knowledge or some insight to it. It's weird. I don't know.
I guess it is kind of weird that like a lot of the professional take on this is just like, no, that is beneath us. We're not going to talk about this story. And you're just like, okay, but like it's actually a thing people want to know about. Yeah, but it's like TMZ journalism. It's bad. You're just like, okay.
You know what? There was a point where it was, for sure. It has become a thing now where people want to know like what we can do to maybe become happier together or something. Like at first it was TMZ stuff like, oh, did you hear who Zoe slept with? And people were like, yeah, gross, kill her. And like people were being gross about it. But now it's like, how, like, I can read you one of these questions if you want.
Well, kind of tipping, like showing your hand for later the podcast,
Well,
but
I'm not going to answer it, but I'll just give you
okay,
an
okay,
example.
okay. Like just the nature of the questions.
So, gaming is a hobby. Most gaming culture sites are based around people's love of that hobby. Are the wrong things being asked of sites that built themselves around an emotional appreciation of games rather than an intellectual one? It's just like,
Hmm.
okay, that
Wait, sorry. What was the last sentence?
the question is, are the wrong things being asked of sites to build themselves around an emotional appreciation of games rather than an intellectual one?
Okay, okay. Hmm.
So, like, that's just one of the questions, and there's a whole bunch of other ones. Like, do you think this is because there's been like a lack of AAA titles into the industry lately, and people are like reaching for articles and stuff? Like there's some things there that's like,
Hmm.
I didn't even think about that, but you're right. This all started happening when there was literally nothing to talk about, and then Destiny came out, and Gamergate started going down a little bit.
Sure.
It's
Just
weird.
like, yeah. It's like we need to fill this blog with tons of articles every day. Make sure that happens. It's like, well, nothing's coming out. Find something that's coming out. Okay, this Flash game came out. There's an article. Like, yeah,
There's
like
two
it's
there's
it's
two
weird.
questions here referring to Roger Ebert.
Okay.
Like,
Well, he actually did weigh in on a lot of gaming topics towards the end there, but yeah, okay. I don't know. That hey, stay tuned for a compelling series of podcasts about Gamergate. Although, okay, I've had no real like soapbox to just say I don't like that hyphen gate means anything because there was
sure.
actually a hotel named the Watergate and it wasn't a water
Yeah.
scandal. It was a real hotel. Like it's just like
Yeah.
why did this word catch on? Like this
You know,
meme is so dumb, but here we are, like
I
40
don't
years
know if I
later.
ever told you this, but I
Yeah.
misheard Jonathan Colton's lyrics to The Future Soon, and
Okay.
the actual lyrics are "Now I'm all alone during couples skate," and I heard it as
Yeah.
couples gate.
Oh, and you're just like, okay, some sort of couple scandal. Like,
Right.
yeah, it's just like hyphen gate is just scandal. Like, it just means like some sort of big snafu, and it's just like, what? No, it was like a very specific thing that happened in the 70s. Why? Like Gerstmann Gate. That was going
Grossman gate.
around after he
Yep.
got fired, and you're just like, I get it, but why? How did this term happen? Like, was it being used in like the 80s and 90s too? Like every time something happened, it was just like, all right, this, like, I don't know, Monica Lewinsky Gate. Boom, done.
Like
Headline:
Lewinsky gate.
Lewinsky Gate, Clinton blowjob gate. Like what? I don't. Whatever. So yeah, I won't be on this panel, so dumb comments like that won't be on those podcasts.
Do you not have any comments that you just want to get out there on it? I I was gonna say
I think
Carlos.
our kind of trying to have a backyard barbecue discussion was almost my like I'm just playing Zelda over here. Like I just don't really
Right.
want to weigh in on like this is right or this is wrong. Like the only reason I turned to game journalism is like this week I'm like I wonder how Destiny is. I should probably look up some footage of it. Like that's the only reason I'd like seek out any kind of game coverage because I'm actually curious about a game. But like most of the time it's just like do I want to hear someone bellyache about how Skyward Sword's no good? And you're just like, well, no, it came out 3 years ago and I like it, so I don't need no more coverage on it. That's a waste of time. Like
Hmm.
people don't like Twilight Princess. Okay, whatever. That's immaterial to my playing it right now. So, eh. I maybe it's like part of it's just the subjective nature of game playing. Like no one's experience can stand for your own of a game. Like you could have fun where someone didn't, or have a terrible time where someone else had a great time, just because of so many factors. Like it doesn't. It's a harder thing to put a read on than like something static like a movie or a book where it's just like if you read all of these pages in sequence you will have this experience, whereas like if you turn on this software and start messing around with it, I don't know, something good could happen. You could have a terrible time. Minecraft sold for 2.5 billion dollars. I still think that game is boring and terrible. Whatever, doesn't matter. Like I don't, it doesn't tell you how to craft in the game, does it? Because it didn't when I played it, and if
No.
that's core to it should be in the game. So I just stopped playing. I was like, there's a crafting system. how do I do that? Well, you open Wikipedia and okay, fuck that. Done.
Right.
Like I didn't uninstall it, but I haven't updated it in a long time.
I was gonna say we talked last episode a little bit about like this stuff going on or whatever. Well, it was kind of the recap episode of how the world went to hell in the month we were gone, and we brought up what was going on with Zoe Quinn specifically because she was still being called out by name at that point,
Right,
and
right.
Gamergate was just kind of starting up, sort of thing.
Yep,
Um,
Gamergate.
and we talked about it a little
I
bit.
actually, I actually like Quinspiracy a little more because it's so
Quinspiracy's
dumb.
great. It's
It's
so
so,
good.
but like conspiracy is a word, so it's using that's a better portmanteau. Whatever. Okay.
Right. Anyways, we were talking about it.
Zoe Quinn.
We were talking about how we're pretty neutral in a stance. You're pretty neutral in the way of being apathetic about what's going on completely, really.
Unfortunately, yeah, it is apathy, which is usually a
Yeah.
negative emotion, but it's just
No,
like
it's fine. I'm just stating that's what, like, as a basic idea, that's what we were talking about, how you were pretty apathetic about it. That's why you were neutral. I'm neutral on it
mhm,
because I agree with both sides.
like
So,
components
like,
of both sides' arguments.
it's kind
But
of like if we're
yeah,
having the barbecue, you're the guy maybe putting in your headphones while flipping the burgers, and I'm there just being like, "No, I agree with you. That guy's a dick," and then going to that guy and saying, "No, I agree with you. He doesn't know what he's talking about." And like going back, like I agree with both sides
uh-huh.
because I can see both of what they're talking about, but they're just being dicks about it, sort of thing.
There,
So
it does seem to be a lot of like poorly expressed stuff of just like
that's, mhm.
like the fundamental thing of what you're saying about game developers and game coverage people are like too close. Yeah, but your specific example that you're highlighting and the amount of vitriol and outrage and some of the facts you're obfuscating versus some of the things that are in fact true, like I don't know, like seeing kind of refresher like a lot of Anita Sarkeesian stuff's been bubbling up again, and it's just
Yeah,
what was I mean, I'm trying to think what like the nature of the post I was reading really was. It was basically saying she hadn't actually filed a police report with local police,
yeah. I
and
I did see this.
that was kind of causing some people like, hey, that's kind of not cool, like she's just using this for attention. And then people were talking about the videos and stuff again and the amount of money on Kickstarter, and it's just like I like at some point I just have this kind of like, is there just a jealousy angle where it's just like,
Uh
well,
huh.
I can't just turn on a camera and be like, can I have like $6,000 please, and then get 150,000 because I don't have any
Yeah,
inherent interest in what I'm about right now.
I'll tell you what
So
that was all about. Basically, is that
this
the
police
whole
report
the
thing.
whole thing came in that it was like she didn't file a police report because I have a friend that's a cop and he always said that you can't talk about like stuff if you file a police report and whatever until they're done their investigation and blah blah blah. So since she's talking about it, she obviously hasn't done it, sort of thing. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
one of these things, and that was enough for people to be like, "Oh my god, fuck her," and everything comes back up again, bubbling to the
Hmm.
top because that's what happens. When in reality, the true core to what this problem is can we criticize Sarkeesian for doing something without being labeled a misogynist? And the answer is no on the internet, which is
Hmm.
probably wrong.
Well, like
But
parts
but
of
at the same
my
time,
yeah, okay,
it's
sorry.
kind of there is misogyny there because if you're criticizing her on what she didn't do because she was being harassed for being a woman or whatever, she doesn't have to file a police report if she doesn't want to. So the
Hmm.
fact that you're like stating you probably should have or whatever because you're getting this harassment sort of thing because you're a woman, it's kind of misogynistic in its own right. That's like you're a woman, you should have filed a police report. Like I can't believe you're using us like this or
Uh-huh.
whatever. It's I don't know. It's just a weird thing. The whole criticism of Anita Sarkeesian has been lost to the point of she is using us, or you can't say that because you're a disgusting misogynist. That's what the argument is. When really the argument should be she has some good points on these videos, but I don't think she's telling the whole story, maybe.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
she is handpicking stuff, which is fine because like I've said before, I support this with YouTube people because they always do this. Every single content producer will cherry pick anything that supports their cause because that's how this thing goes. And
Okay,
people
yeah. Like
people kind of have to
I'm
do
gonna
their own
undercut my
research.
own videos and the interest in myself by saying this. It's like, well, obviously you wouldn't do that. Like there's
The
like a
thing is,
self-editing.
people have to do their own research. These are jumping off points. She is totally right about a lot of these tropes about women in video games, whether or not she's a gamer herself, or even recognize these stuff, or like had somebody help her write this stuff, or even
Hmm.
played the games she's talking about. She is completely right. However, there's like the other side to it, where there are games that do it good, okay. Why don't you put out like a retort instead of saying I'm going to rape you because you're a disgusting piece of shit? Why don't you put out your
Yeah.
own video saying she is totally right about this? Let me show you some of the developers and games that have tried to work against this and how cool it can end up. To which she could reply to that at some point,
Hmm.
being like, they did do this right, however, they're doing this kind of wrong. Like, there should be an
Well,
ongoing discussion about every medium, but people are
right,
shutting
right.
it down by being pigs.
I guess yeah, like what you're saying is like there should be more of a dialogue and an exchange of stuff. And
Absolutely.
where I'm kind of like already a little bit like maybe one point where I'm not impressed with some of the way things are being carried is not allowing content like comments on YouTube by just kind of blanket
Oh,
describing like, well, it's just going to be a cesspool of horrible misogyny anyway, so I'm just going to turn it off. And you're just like, well, that's not a lot of faith in like the audience or like or allowing this to even express itself. Like you're just going to kind
yeah.
of make people bubble like suppress things and not be able to like I mean like a lot of stuff that is said on YouTube is garbage, like just angry stuff. But I don't know if I've said, I think I might have said, like, I did have actually a really impactful YouTube argument one time. Like, a
I
big,
don't recall this. No.
it was like a week long fight with this dude in the comment
Okay.
section of like a Conan O'Brien interview with Bill Maher, like Bill Maher or whatever, like the comedian. Like, this was kind of early in my kind of religious like unraveling, I guess. But it was like
Sure.
just this guy who was just uncompromising and just like really just dug in his heels, right? And it was just like it was just a like I was thinking about it at work of just like man that guy and the YouTube just, oh like I was just like angry, but I don't know like if like whoever uploaded that Conan clip was just like no you can't comment like that angry conversation wouldn't have happened and I wouldn't have like started reading some books and changing some perspectives
It
and
wouldn't.
things like it actually impacted me, right?
The thing
So
about an argument or like a dialogue like that is that if you don't have an answer to what they're saying, you will usually be motivated to find an answer for yourself. And then
mhm.
that answer might be, holy shit, they're totally right. Like, this
Yeah.
is disgusting. This is misogynistic. Why are the female corpses of, like, enemies strung out with their legs open?
Mhm.
Like, where the male corpses are, like, laying on their faces or whatever. Like, why are
Oh wait, is
some of
this like
these
a historic battles thing or
No,
what are you
no,
saying?
I'm just saying like there was something that this is a personal story where people were talking about like the uses of like dead bodies in video games as like corpses or whatever. And how
Okay.
women are 90% a woman's corpse is 90% more likely to be sexualized in a manner as a
Oh,
corpse
like
as
in
a male
Skyrim or something or
just in general. And then I was thinking that can't be true, like whatever. So I started looking at some stuff, and sure enough, like a male corpse is decrepit looking, disgusting, and like maybe like what's the word like uh pruny or something like falling apart, just laying on the ground, just kind of like background fodder. Where like a dead woman in like
hello?
hi,
Yeah,
hi,
the video cut out or like it broke.
everything
You
cut
there?
out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, you're talking about corpses in video games.
female corpses. Yes,
Yeah,
as I
which
as I do.
is that what the new episode's about? Because I haven't watched it.
I don't know. I haven't seen her new episode actually because, like I've said before, I find her grating. So I'm a little annoyed that her personally, she's the one doing these because I would like to
Okay.
hear it from
It's
another
like these are
person.
good observations, but I kind of wish someone else was the mouthpiece for this. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. Are we back online or?
Like, for the most part, yeah.
Okay. Like we're still recording and everything?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I hadn't really thought about. I thought you were talking about like player interaction with like a Fallout game or something, not just like no, in general, if there's just like set dressing of a scene and there's dead people, like the woman will be more posed,
Hmm.
which is odd. I've never really thought about that. Like I'm
I
just
didn't
like
think about
for
it either
specific,
until
I'm
I
thinking about
heard it.
like Dead Space or Resident Evil or something like that might be a case where that could have happened, but I don't know. Or is it like or is there like sexy zombies that are in like bikinis? That
Oh, dude,
happens.
there's totally that. Are you
Yeah, or
kidding
like
me?
Dead
The
Island,
whole Dead
Riptide.
Island thing.
Yeah, I
Yes.
know. Where it was just like that was actually a topic we discussed with Lauren, right? Because that just came out in the
Dude,
UK of
I'm
just
not
like
gonna lie. When I saw that, I was kind of like, okay, I kind of want it. And then as I was thinking about it, I'm like, this is the worst idea. There's no way I would even show that because it's disgusting.
right. It's like more embarrassing than a like boob mouse pad or whatever, or like a pillowcase. It's like, no, this is just a bloody torso that is sexualized for some
That has
reason.
nothing to do with the game at all.
Yeah, it was just like dead. Dead's in the name. It, you know. Also, Riptide apparently was terrible, but yeah. Beside the whole thing. Turning off comments. Total Biscuit does it too, so other
Pew-
people do it.
PewDiePie has started doing it too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Just that's a little. I don't know. The
To be
haters,
fair,
huh?
PewDiePie's audience is like 10-year-olds, so who cares what they have to say anyway?
I guess so, but maybe they could have life changing arguments in the PewDiePie comments, and some good would come of all this.
I like maybe we can have this discussion together.
Okay.
I'm not against the idea of turning comments off at all, because I do find that most, unless you have somebody to police them, people will be just kind of disgusting as a general rule on the internet with the being anonymous. That's what
I
I have
mean,
found.
I guess, but just letting them get it out of their system or something. Like I mean, it's like I don't have to participate in the discussion, so I don't really
Right,
need
but you're
to.
a rational human being. This is the
Well,
problem.
are you saying there's people who are kind of just like, well, what do people have to say, and then getting upset about it, kind of
Yes,
thing? Okay.
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, I guess once I've encountered something I'm like irritated by, I will stop. So
And yeah, 3D Homer brings up a good point. The reason PewDiePie did it is he was saying the good discussions I have with people that follow me and my fans don't happen on YouTube. Like the only YouTube comments that come about are like really hateful, disgusting things to not only me but like people that are watching it. Like there'd be stuff like if you're
like
watching this, you should kill yourself, sort of thing.
oh, like people just being like angry
Like
at his
people that
fans.
don't, because people will just, I don't know, they go to stuff they don't like and they will say terrible things because they have a platform to do it without being face to face with them.
Right. I mean, I've expressed like just bafflement at PewDiePie's popularity and not liking his videos, but I don't have a bunch of secret alt accounts that I'm stirring up hate on
But there are
YouTube.
people that do that, which is weird to me.
Yeah.
It is a
I guess
subculture
it's
I don't
just.
understand. The whole
Hmm.
like YouTube like spewing hate on internet message boards or forums of whatever sort.
Are you not turning video back on?
I can't. It screwed everything up.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know. I'm kind of getting sidetracked and just like, there's no questions this week, you said, or?
There is literally no questions this week at all.
Oh,
I think
okay.
people think we might have like stopped.
Oh,
You think we
okay.
should stop right in?
If you think we should stop doing this, write in at Burning Bear. Like, what is the new email?
It's still podcast at burningbarrel.co. Like anything that was pixelresponse.com is now just burningbarrel.co.
Okay.
Okay, actually, I am 3D Homer, and the chat says I have a question for Nathan for whenever you guys are ready to move on. Great.
Okay. Yeah, we
Okay.
are. I don't.
Did he ever tie the knot on Evangelion and watch the end of Eva movie?
No, I have Evangelion 1.01 and 2.22, but I don't have the end of Evangelion thing, which is earlier in the chronology. So no, we haven't continued down that yet. We did just
Okay.
finish watching Tenchi ni Naruman, which is that kind of comedy anime I was watching. And
Right.
it actually, it's weird. Like it's like such a one-off. Like each week is just a comic adventure for like most of the show, and then it's like okay, now it's time for like series story payoff for like the last four episodes. So like the last four episodes are like much more serious, but like serious about the wacky mythology of that world. So it wasn't that bad, but it was just like, oh, we need to watch all of these now because it's just like cliffhangers after each one or whatever. So that was the thing. Um, there's like one song in the soundtrack of that show that is like the most zany manic song. Like I'm thinking about just like first of all I need to fix one of my iPods because it's been broken for a while. But once I do, I'm gonna bring that song in and see how it goes for listening to it at work.
Okay.
It might be good for data entry or like weirdly stressful. Like I was listening to the Majora's Mask soundtrack a lot at work.
Okay.
As that soundtrack goes on, it gets more and more intense because it's like the days structure of the game. So it's
Yeah.
like day three, and it's like dun, 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 and then there's like the ominous kind of stuff getting in there, and it gets faster and faster, and you're just like, this is really stressful to listen to.
Right.
So yeah, the world is good. Like the moon is going to crush everything if I don't finish these waybills. Like it's just weird. So yeah, I like that game soundtrack, but don't maybe not the best contact. So I'm still looking for other things to. So yeah, sorry I've like hijacked your Groove Shark and I'm just using it. I hope you're okay with all the
You should just
playlists.
create your own. Because it was
You're.
simple enough. All I did was click the sign up with Twitter and then
Mhm.
authorize this, and that's how I did it.
But I mean, then we need to like I am still using your desktop, so it would like we'd have to switch logins or something on Groove Shark. But you're saying it's
Well,
trivial to
like, why don't you
log
have your
out.
own login or desktop on that computer at
I
work so
really
that when you,
should, because
yeah,
I only have a desktop on like the crappy computer, and I never want to use it.
and that's
So
the other dude's problem now, that computer.
you're right. So yeah, you're right. I should just get set up proper. I mean, it's been
We'll do
enough time.
that. We'll do that Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Is that it
I'm
then
kind
for
of
this?
I'm kind of interested to. I'm sorry, I have my Ask FM up. I'll ask you one
Okay.
question from it because I'm kind of interested to hear what you have to say about it.
Okay. Okay.
How important is transparency in the gaming press? What are the tangible effects? What are the tangible effects of a lack of transparency has wait, what tangible effects the lack of transparency have on the public that consumes gaming media? So like what are the effects of not having transparency in the gaming press and how important is the gaming press transparency, do you
Well,
think?
I mean, like I guess all of it is just trust based, right?
This is
So
why I'm asking you because you for years followed the GameSpot thing to Giant Bomb and like you were very much
yeah.
into that sort of thing where I was always kind of an arm's length away from it because I was trying to do my own thing with it as well.
hmm Whereas, yeah, no, I was for a while taking like GameSpot reviews as just like, okay, this is a good game because it got an 8. I'm gonna go buy it. And for a while, I thought that was like kind of helping me out because it was expanding my horizons of stuff I would play a bit. Of just like, I don't know what the series is, but they say it's great, so I'm gonna try it. Like, this football game is apparently great. I'm gonna try it. Like stuff like that. But at some point, it wasn't so much that maybe part of it was the shift to Giant Bomb in that they just kind of don't take reviews very seriously. So neither do I. Like I don't take their
Okay.
reviews seriously now as by proxy because they kind of just review what they want to. Like
Right.
there's not really any attempt to be authoritative at all. Like they're
Right.
not even faking it anymore. Whereas just like, no, this got a 6.7. Like this is how good this is. Whereas now it's just kind of like, like they'll just kind of talk about it on like the show or something or do a quick look, and it's just like there's less effort put in, and it's clear, right? Like
Yeah.
it's more casual, and everything is too. Like at some point, like the distinction between who is a paid game critic and who is just anybody it started getting much more like just indistinct, and it's just like I guess a certain amount of jealousy kind of came in of just like I don't get it. Like why does this person get to be a successful paid employee of a thing and they're not really doing much? Like I don't, whereas GameSpot there was kind of a like no, you need to play this garbage game and play through all of it and then give a score and write a thing and post a video. Like
Right.
there was kind of a this is still a job. Like that person is suffering for my betterment. I know now not to buy that game because they played through every single minute of it and can speak with authority about how good it is. Whereas like I don't know, once it started getting even into like Jeff Gerstmann played like 3 hours of Red Dead Redemption and went like it's just kind of like that's not a good opinion, but he's able to voice it and people are hearing it and taking it as something. And it's
Right.
I don't know, like it's just kind of like well anyone could do that. Like newspaper, like around the same time I was getting way into GameSpot, I actually job shadowed at a local newspaper, and
Mhm.
it was baffling to me to hear that their game critics just didn't have enough time to play everything, so they were actually writing reviews based on just a little bit of gameplay, right? Like I
Sure.
bought I bought Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution and Silent Hill 3 because of reviews I read in the Calgary Herald, and it was like these were 5-star reviews, and it's just like, oh, you didn't even play like the whole game, so this just got like so much less authoritative. And now that like yeah, Giant Bomb is kind of in the same. It was just like they don't play the whole game. Like, but they also don't post a review, so that's fine. But they don't know any more than I do. They know
Right.
90 minutes worth of stuff because that's all they did. And
Yeah.
like at that point, it's just kind of like anyone could do that. Anyone is doing that. People are doing that on YouTube. Like I kind of want someone to put in some hours, and it's like I don't know. It's just not happening. So
Right. Yeah.
it's, I mean, maybe it is somewhere, but it's like there seemed to be at some point an effort to like, no, we're going to cover every single game that comes out at GameSpot. And they were just like, like a 4 or a 2 out of 10 review might actually be fun to watch or read. Like the Charlie's Angels Full Throttle review is kind of fun because it's like, wow, what a piece of garbage GameCube game. Glad I don't
Right.
have to play that, but I get to still enjoy this content. Or like the Big Rigs review is like a
Right.
kind of popular thing that came out of that. And nowadays that would just be kind of a half-hour video or something, not like
Yeah.
2 minutes of video review content and a written thing, right? Like, I mean, maybe I should think about it even like we were talking about Roger Ebert earlier. Like, reading a Roger Ebert review or watching him and Siskel talk about a bad movie is sometimes better than them talking about a movie they both like. Like, it's just
Right.
like, yeah, I like that. I like that too. It's really good. Yeah, it is. Whereas if it's like, oh man, this movie's so bad, and then like they're just kind of ragging on it, or one of them likes it and one of them doesn't, that's the best scenario for
Right. Yeah.
all animated stuff. Like GameSpot used to have that kind of quality of just like this is fun on its own. Like this is just good entertainment. Like this review about this game is fun to consume in some way. Am I gonna
Right.
buy Nano Breaker after? Hell no.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I now know it exists, and whenever I see it in a dump bin, I go, yeah, Keith. Like it's just I know stupid junk about that game because of the review. So yeah, I don't know. They just I mean, that's the part of the industry I've been paying attention to. For all I know, IGN or somebody does thorough coverage of a bunch of stuff. I am not sure,
Right.
but there seems to be a lot more kind of just disposable. Like, I turned on a camera in this game and played it, and you're just like, I can do that. Like, I could do that. I
I
want
do
you to
do
have
that.
yeah. It's like I want you to play the whole thing and then report back to me with like some information and
Yeah.
make that information entertaining. Like that used to be what happened. And yeah, it's getting a little. But I mean, it's
So
kind of a weird demand because it's like a movie critic has to watch a 2 hour movie, whereas you could have someone like a garbage game that's like 20 hours long, and to
yeah.
expect them to consume all of that and then distill it down to like the same thing is asking a lot, and I get why it doesn't happen. But
Sure.
yeah, like I mean, you like even when now on Giant Bomb they speak more candidly about those times. Like apparently that was actually really quite a grind. Like some of that stuff was terrible. Like Alex Navarro was talking about quitting like unironically a lot during that time period. And it's just like that does make a lot of sense. But at the same time, I'm really glad he played Drake of the 99 Dragons and I got to watch the review.
Yeah.
But okay, it actually was taking a toll. Like they would even post like kind of GameSpot weekly kind of goofy videos, and there's one about Alex trying to review the RoboCop game and like accidentally opening a portal to hell and like bad games and all this kind of shit is like tormenting him, and it's like, oh, I thought it was a joke, and it's like, no, actually, he was really upset. Like they tried to put a
So
good face on it, but there's kind
so
of
with that sort of stuff though, they were
yeah.
very transparent about that stuff, right? Like this game was really bad. I played probably 2 hours of it. This is what I thought. Like there was
Well,
transparency there.
the thing is, though, is like at the time, the GameSpot review code was actually no, they had to see the credits roll, like finish the game. So
Okay.
I guess, yeah, that they had kind of like a stated, this is our criteria, this is how we're reviewing game stuff. Yeah, GameSpot was transparent. I feel Giant Bomb is transparent.
They are for sure transparent.
It's
Like,
just
come on.
not, yeah, like they're, no, I'm saying like, we're not going to review Bastion because we know Greg Kasavin, like stuff like
Right.
that,
How
or
important is that
in
they
every
do that?
Rock Band review, they would mention like, "Hey, Alex Navarro is credited in this game," stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I think just by nature, like the kind of game coverage they're interested in, they're doing right now, just isn't as compelling as it used to be. So it doesn't matter if they're like, "No, we're going to be really honest with you." It's like, yeah, but I kind of just don't care. Like you can like, did they ever put a review of Transistor up? Like I remember them kind
I
of
don't know.
I remember them talking about it, and I was kind of like validated a bit, and like they weren't as excited about it as Bastion either. You know,
Right.
like it was like, okay, like they're actually not just gonna go over the moon for this game just by default. So that's interesting. But I don't think they ever actually put a review up or anything. I don't think so. Because I would suspect it would be like 3 out of 5 or something. It's just like, eh. But they don't have to do that because no one's holding them to that.
How important do
So
you think that transparency is, though? Like, that's kind of the question: is how important is it that Giant Bomb's like, look, we love Greg, we can't review his game. Like, is it important that they do that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it would make more sense. Like, yeah, that's
Okay.
if a 5-star review just went up and there was no explanation, like that would be kind of dirty.
Shady. Yeah.
So yeah, like that would be a violation of the trust kind of agreement and whatever. But they've definitely never done that kind of stuff. It's
No. No. No.
just yeah, I guess I'm just kind of speaking of a different issue of just like yeah, no, they're honest as all get out. It's just not very like difficult content. Like I honestly miss video reviews. Like
Yeah.
I like heard them talk candidly about like specifically Vinny, the editing guy, like was just like, it is such a insane amount of work for like a feature and they weren't
It
really
is
getting like
for
yeah,
what
you're editing
for.
tons of video for like
Yeah,
5-6 minutes or something. That
dude. Like,
said,
I did it for that Wolfenstein thing. It took me like 10 hours. It's a 6 minute
yeah,
video.
like the labor involved is so much higher than just streaming some video some stuff out and kind of trying to be concise or whatever with your commentary or something or just talking about the game, but
Hmm.
I really just enjoyed going through like every single video review GameSpot would
Yeah.
post, and it like was like
Sure.
I don't care what game this is, I just want to see like what's going on, like why is this a 4, why is this a 9, why is this a 6.3, like it doesn't matter, it's just kind of a piece of content, and it has a clear purpose and a clear goal, and sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're just very serious, um and that stuff I like that they kind of just keep it concise and it's still video content and you get to kind of look at some of the game or whatever. But yeah, just like once quick looks stopped being like 20 minutes, half an hour, and we're just like, yeah, you got 2 hours, it's just like if I had 2 hours I would just play video games. So
Sure.
no, I have like 5 minutes. Can you express something about a video game in 5 minutes? Nobody seems to be doing that. So like, are there like I mean, is there
You
someone
know,
just like cutting down
yeah,
like
there are people
razor
doing that,
stuff?
but they're
Yeah,
not. the problem is, like, this is gonna sound super elitist and dumb, but they're
Mhm.
not Jeff Gerstmann. They haven't been doing this for years. They're just some like kid with an opinion, which is fine. It's that I don't know that kid from 15 years ago, and I don't know what
Yeah.
he liked 15 years ago
Hmm.
because he
So I
probably
get
wasn't even born, for one thing.
I guess like kind of a snarky way of putting it would be like it's like watching kind of like an elite professional let themselves go a bit,
Yeah,
you
it's like
know?
seeing Batman try to fit in his suit again. It's just not
Sure,
happening
yeah,
anymore
or
because he's been
it's
on the
just kind of
couch.
like, we're just gonna be less disciplined now and more free, like free form, and you're just like, on some level, I appreciate that. I understand why you'd want that, but the kind of strict guidelines before produced some really good stuff. And
Yeah,
now, left to your own devices, like it's kind of just getting less honed and sharp, you know? I just
yeah.
don't keep up with it at all anymore. But when before, like at the height of my enthusiasm, like I was watching every single piece of content that went up and like
You know,
rewatching stuff I liked.
maybe there's a market for that again because the thing is, like, I didn't tell anybody this, but have you ever met my friend Mark?
I mean, oh,
Oh, we
I
were
think
at a
so.
bar
Yeah.
together at some point in
Okay. Yeah.
Airdrie, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. That was actually that was a good cup of coffee.
that was his
It was
birthday.
true. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, anyways.
And that was the first time I had
Um,
a Burt Reynolds. Anyway. Okay.
yeah. So he and I actually set up a green screen because we were going to do the video review format. The problem is we were working on our regular jobs and realized, dude, this is like a 20-hour gig that we would have to do. And we don't
Yeah.
live together. I would have to come over every weekend, get video footage, and we'd have to work on this separately. Like it was a bad idea because
Hmm.
logistically we couldn't handle it, but I've been wanting to do that sort of like video review thing for years. It's just never happened. So
But
maybe
yeah,
there's a thing out there for that now.
I mean, hearing like 10 hours of editing for like a video, like that's like a day out of your weekend, like every week for a video. But I guess if it's like, I don't know.
And like
I
Three
think
Homer
part of
Saint
it.
John's done those like you should play, you should avoid videos. I
Hmm.
can guarantee you that he took as much time as I took. Like it easily took him 10 hours per video. Because the thing isn't what you want to say about the game. It's
It's the
playing the
gathering of
game,
footage.
gathering the footage, clipping out what you want, and then matching it up to what you're saying. Like that part
Yeah.
itself is the lifting up the barrel full of rocks and moving it like a few yards. The
Hmm.
putting of the rocks in the barrel in the first place is easy. It's everything that comes after that that's hard. So like I
Yeah.
can guarantee you, John, and like I know John, he's meticulous with a lot of stuff he does in that regard. So he probably took double the time, and it shows because his effort is like his videos are better. I'm
Hmm.
just saying, like he puts time into that stuff. That would have taken him all day. But the thing is, he also has all day to do it. So
I guess yeah, like it's hard. It's pretty much impossible for someone who's otherwise full time employed to commit the time and energy to something like that. But I guess it's impossible for one person to cover everything. So I guess I appreciated it that there was like a full site dedicated to trying to do that. Whereas now I don't know. It just doesn't, like no one's going to do that, and they all recognize that they are part of like a larger industry that's looking at all sorts of different things,
yeah,
but there's like no voice that is of distinction amongst any of it now that I've gravitated to. Like, I mean, Total Biscuit does enjoy a certain amount of clout, and he does work. Like,
I
I
will
mean,
say specifically though, his
his
cloud is
Wolfenstein video.
really for only PC.
Yeah, and I mean,
So
I guess we joke about it and stuff, but I find like the certain attitude about the PC Master Race stuff just fucking irritating.
it
Like
is
it's
pretty
like,
irritating.
no, I get it. It's better. Zelda isn't on it though, so whatever. Like just I know
Yeah,
you could get an emulator or something, but
right,
I've liked video games in all forms and shapes and sizes for a long time. Like it doesn't really
right.
matter to me that I can play on this thing. Like that it's such a non-issue. It's just, do you want to play the game? play the game. Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's got a better shadows on this. It's like, okay, did the shadow actually really impact your enjoyment that much? Like, really? Okay. Like frame rate and stuff. Like if it's like hampering functionality at all, fair enough. But like, I want to play The Sopranos Road to Respect. It's only on PS2. I have
Right.
one. I bought it. I'm gonna play it.
In regards to the
Transaction
frame
complete.
rate thing, the frame
Yeah.
rate thing is a failure if it's a PC title. Because there's no
Yeah.
excuse why the frame rate would ever be locked. Why
Like, why
should
did
it?
you limit it? Yeah, like that's
You
bad
programmed it to
reporting.
run at like 120. Why are you limiting it to 28?
I know.
Like,
yeah.
so
Like,
that's a
no,
valid
there's
criticism.
definitely like, oh, okay, no. There's definitely legitimate like things to be said about PC gaming and trying to make a better experience and Steam's assets and all that stuff. But when it's just like,
Yeah.
here's a picture of Gabe Newell. No, it's Gabe Newell, you guys. Fucking Gabe Newell. And you're just like, I get it. He fucking made Halo, Half-Life, whatever.
Halo!
He made Halo,
made
you
Halo.
guys. That's what it was, wasn't it? He made Bungie. He didn't, and I know it.
This
But
is so good. Just out
half
of your anger, you lost your
HAL
mind.
shooter, that one. Also, Half-Life 2 has bad pacing, and he didn't make it. He's like a producer, so I don't like whatever. Ugh. It's on the front page of Reddit a lot.
Sorry, I'm quoting you on Twitter.
Halo. Gabe Newell, I get it. He made Halo. Krasnor, 2014.
I get it. It's fucking Gabe Newell. He made Halo, whatever. Krasnor 2014.
Hashtag PC Master Race. Whatever. Just
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, no, I understand that visuals and whatever are like an important part of it, but that isn't like, if you play Mass Effect on a 360, you can still have a great time. And I did.
Absolutely. That's where I played it first.
Yeah,
So,
and it's like,
whatever.
oh, if you do a side-by-side comparison, do you know that like all the Solarians' heads look way better? And you're just like, that's cool, but the story is still good, and that's the main thing I'm appreciating right now. So who cares? Like, why do you gotta shit on my experience? Like, why aren't we just talking about how we both played the same video game and we liked it? I don't like this weird. Like, it's basically just the new console wars thing. It's like a new player has entered the race and is shouting at everyone about how they've been better this whole time, and you're just like, okay, I wasn't saying anything otherwise. It's just have your weird pride party over here about your GPUs. I feel dumb that
You're
I'm
so
just,
angry for somebody who does most of their gaming on PC lately.
well, no, like I've been playing a lot of Nintendo.
Well,
Like,
yeah, but like whatever.
No.
I mean, like the newer-ish type stuff.
Well,
you
for
play
new stuff,
mainly on...
it's true, but like I guess there's no pride in ownership in like just a big growing Steam list. So I don't really turn to it a lot. Like it becomes that thing of just like, what should I play? Scroll. I don't know. I don't know. And then I boot up like I have played like nothing on the PC for a while. Like I played a bit of Shovel Knight, played a bit of Freddy's, and got scared. I
that's
played
what you're supposed to do.
I played
Get
26 minutes of Murdered Soul Suspect.
That's way
And-
more than you should have.
I mean,
That game is fucking hot garbage.
I wish it like, I mean, when it lets you just be full ghost and you get to walk around through walls and everything, that's fine. But I don't
Yeah.
like that it ever limits you on that. It's just like, you can't
Right.
walk through this wall. Why?
Dude, no,
'Cause
dude,
it
whatever.
would be
The
really
walls,
hard.
fine. You can't walk through this trash can sitting in the alleyway. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like, I'm
really?
a ghost. Just let me ghost. All you had to do was turn no clip on for me at all times, and I would be
Yeah.
a ghost. Like, just why is
You
that
get to the
hard?
part where you get to play as a cat.
I don't think so. I got to like
Okay.
one of those stupid stealth things where there's the monsters, and
That is literally 5 minutes into the game.
I may have. Well, there's cutscenes and preamble.
Okay, you know what? You're totally right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
You're right.
5 minutes into like actually controlling things, maybe, and yeah,
Yes.
it wasn't very fun.
No, it sucks. The
And then
stealth
hearing
in
you
that
guys
game's
talk
terrible.
about how it's just bad, like it's just like, okay, well, I should just cut my losses and stop right now.
I think I think Sean was a little more lenient on it. I seem to remember one of the news articles either that week or the week after being the company that made Murdered Soul Suspects went out of business, and all I said was good.
They deserved it. You reap what you sow. Yeah.
Okay, I got one last question because Marshmallow put it in the chat.
Okay.
If you were to rank video game characters into tiers, who would be the strongest characters in your strongest tier be? We'll call this tier overpowered.
Like for fighting or for just like is this kind of Smash inspired and it's just like who would win all the fights or is it just like good characters?
He said,
like,
for example, I would
Okay.
include Disgaea characters, Disgaea
Yeah,
characters
this guy, yeah.
who can outrun bullets and bring down massive meteorites onto the battlefield. Okay, so I'm guessing just in general, and 3D Homer's right, Asura should be somewhere in there because he's very angry.
He is very angry and a god essentially, and he beats up all the other gods. So he's really really powerful and
Yes,
super motivated by revenge and stuff. He dies so many times and doesn't.
He's
even
in that
care.
tier.
He's high tier, yeah, for sure. Like probably the top.
I would say overpowered. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I guess RPG heroes in a lot of ways that like you can summon all meteors and world-ending things, and it doesn't really matter. Which, Final Fantasy's so weird. It's just like a giant dragon just burnt everything, and no, it's fine. 800 damage. I don't know, but like what Bayonetta, somebody, or whoever was throwing skyscrapers at her, but she just didn't even care. So
Bayonetta's a really good one, actually.
She's got a lot of confidence and just pulls off a lot of ridiculous nonsense like it's nothing at all. Like with a wink and a smile, like actually. So like yeah, like I'm just thinking of like those kind of characters of just like Dante and just any crazy action Japanese characters. They just kind of pull off stuff and don't even care. So Ryu Hayabusa? No, he's just a ninja actually. He's more down to earth, I guess.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's cutting up big demon things and whatever, but there's nothing kind of within his ability set. I mean, Ninpo magic and whatever, but not quite, not as crazy as Bayonetta. I mean, if we're just talking about fighting and stuff, if I'm talking about like actual written quality, like
written quality, oh man.
Well, I'm talking about like I don't know, maybe like character writing that balances your ability to change things versus like it's an interesting written character to be. What is a great example of that? That's just perfectly in sync and perfectly realizes that. Nothing.
Gordon Freeman.
Alan Wake? Kinda. I liked being that guy. He had a lot to say. They kind of
just like you.
Well, they pull off a lot of character writing. Oh, I guess Francis York Morgan had things to say that I was right on board with. Of just like, you're right, this murder mystery is interesting and everything, but the commentary track on American Werewolf in London is more important. Like just stuff like that. Just movie talk, like to himself. There's some good character writing in that. I would put him on a high tier of like character I was delighted to play as and would play again, kind of thing,
Okay, sure.
Like to some extent, like the supporting characters in Metal Gear are more interesting than Snake himself.
I think
so.
Well, I mean, easily
not put him too high.
I'm gonna say if we're talking terms of writing and character and stuff like that, the boss. I really like her background.
But yeah, like,
story.
But she's like an antagonist, or not really an antagonist, but I mean, supporting character, right? Like they put all their best character writing in the supporting stuff,
for sure,
not in the main role,
which I suppose makes sense because I think that's the way Japanese people like the Japanese developers like to do their thing, where the character that you play is kind of an avatar that you can project onto yourself in a way.
I mean,
So they write for everything around you because it should be you projecting yourself into this avatar, exploring this universe.
I guess I'm thinking of one of my favorite adventure game experiences, which is Day of the Tentacle, where it was like, you're just like fun. You're happy to see these characters like interact and just do stuff. So you're like looking at things that aren't solutions to the puzzle, just to hear them kind of share their thoughts on it and stuff like that. Like there were times where I enjoyed just kind of watching those characters, and you get to kind of say what they're doing. So, adventure game writing can be kind of limiting in terms of what you're actually controlling and doing. But those were fun kind of comic adventures. I guess I was also thinking of Manny Calavera, the Grim Fandango protagonist, but less so. I
Do
prefer.
NPCs count for this question?
I guess so. If one of them's especially interesting, like I Am
Yeah.
Error in Zelda 2 is, like what's he all about?
Right.
It's
Well,
kind of
I
just
don't
a
know.
lingering question over the whole game, but they don't
The
really
pro
satisfy.
See, the problem is whenever I get questions like this, I just kind of want to start talking about like World of Warcraft characters in lore and stuff and in the
Hmm.
game. But that's like why they're there, right? Because in this fantastical world, everyone that makes up the lore is important and powerful. So, like they're written to be that way. So I don't
Yeah,
know if it counts.
I guess I'm thinking about Mass Effect stuff in terms of like there's a lot of
Okay.
good characters in there,
Uh,
and sometimes though like the game just doesn't support like okay,
its own
here's an
characters.
example where it's like I'm going to pair up like Tally and the Geth guy. What's his name? The robot? Like what's his actual name?
They he didn't have
Legion.
one. He was referred to as Legion because
Legion,
they
yeah.
lead
She's just
a
like,
hive mind.
I'm gonna bring Tally and Legion on this mission, and they're gonna have some like fiery stuff to say to each other. No, they're just gonna shoot stuff.
Yeah.
Like during the actual parts where you're playing, they kind of just aren't being themselves. They're just being third person shooter action
Well,
people.
because video games, I
I
don't
know, but
fault
I
them.
guess
I
I
know.
mean you need to account for so much dialogue for all the different pairings of characters you could have, but I wish they did because it would just make that experience so much richer.
I agree. No, I
Because
completely agree.
you're like, oh man, I'm bought into these characters. Like I'm actually going to start catering my team to the personalities you have written for them to kind of see what happens, and not a lot happens. Or like you can even bring Legion onto the Quarian like convoy, and they don't really have that much to say about it, which is stupid because it's like this is the thing that's like threatening your race and always has been, and they're just like, whatever. Or like I've heard Mass Effect 3, if you get that DLC that has that like ancient dude join your team,
Yeah.
like the world just does not react appropriately to it. Like they don't just stop in their tracks and go, "Holy shit! I thought those were extinct. Are you kidding me?" It's just like, "No, whatever. This is my friend. He's like 50,000 years old." Okay. Do you want to buy some stuff or what? Like just, like it's just this kind of dissonance thing that happens when you don't take into account that stuff during gameplay.
Well, I've heard
So,
Homer saying that's like when you got friends together who don't get along, they just like are there, they're quiet, and they just try to ignore the elephant in the room, basically.
all
Which
right.
there have you ever had that experience by chance? Because I
Like just
have.
like an odd pairing of social circles where you just kind of don't address it.
No, I'll give you I'll give you my
Okay.
example.
Okay.
So this one guy I was friends with was good friends with this other guy. There was a girl that got involved. It was kind of messy or whatever. There was fights and breakups and stuff. So they completely like, I fucking hate that guy. I never want to see him again. Piece of shit. Blah blah blah.
Hmm.
I became friends with that other guy as well through work at some point. And there was one night where like we were hanging out and then we invited the other guy along and they were just like in the room together and it was super quiet and they were just like not looking at each other and sitting on like talking to like me and my other friend who was friends with both of them. Like they
Uh,
were talking to us but not the other one, and
hmm.
it was so weird. It was really terrible. A bad experience.
I guess yeah. Like I mean, that's absolutely like what would happen with just relationship dynamics, but like you murdered my entire race kind of level problems that I don't know. It seems like they should
Yeah,
have written
it should be
something
a
for
little
it.
bit more like
Like it's just
I'm
like
mad at you.
even if the game just like wouldn't let you make that pair, that would make more sense. Like it's just like, oh no, they're not talking to each other right now. You can't do that. It's just like, oh, okay. Even though that sucks because you want to pair their abilities or
No, dude,
something, it's like,
that would be
no.
so cool if you tried to do it and there was a cutscene where she's like, "What do you mean you want me to go with this guy? Like, don't you know what he fucking did or something?"
Yeah,
And
and
like
it's just
storms
like
off.
Tally has left the party, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that'd be
Hey,
great.
yeah, like it's like actually right to that kind of quality, like those dynamics, as opposed to just kind of yeah, leaving elephants in the room and kind of just hoping you don't care that much. Like it's kind of a weird thing because it's like all of your like the level of quality of your writing and how much effort you've put into this is making me care to the point where now I'm kind of running into the limits of it. Like it's yeah, it's unfortunate. Just like I care so much about your characters, I'm starting to notice how you haven't actually written them right. Like that's kind of maybe why people had such beef with Mass Effect specifically because they had so much investment, and then they start dictating what they wanted.
Actually, I tweeted about this, like, because I was having random thoughts about this gamers being terrible people or whatever they're saying about people now on
Mm-hmm.
like media. And I was recalling the last official review I did for a site was for Mass Effect 3. Like, it had just dropped at midnight, so everything came out. I had it pre-installed, so at midnight I started playing. I played for like 20 hours straight, basically. I took the day off work that next day.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then that night I wrote my review up, gave it like an 8 out of 10 or something, and I just got some nasty, hateful shit.
For
Like,
liking it too much or what?
for liking the ending, I actually specifically said I really like how they ended this sort of thing and blah 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 because it
Yeah,
felt like there's a finality to it.
consequence. Yeah, yeah.
The reason why I didn't give it a higher score was because like I really love the Mass Effect games. That's why it's so high to begin with, and I really like how they ended it because it surpassed my expectations. I thought they were going to kind of wimp out, which they
Uh-huh.
ended up doing later, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Um, what I didn't like about it, which dropped its grade, is that I felt like the pacing that they had gotten so good with in
Two.
2, they
Yeah.
tried to do too much with this, like you're saving the world, so you have to build up armies, but yet they didn't go with that idea far enough in the fact that if somebody is missing his wallet, you're gonna help him find it, sort of thing. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't focused enough in its pacing. That was my
Oh
big
yeah,
problem
like
with it.
the level of like importance of your side quests was all over the place. Of just like you need to fund this army or else this planet is gonna fall. Also, this guy is really worried about this like thing or something. Like yeah, like just small piddly stuff also.
I
Like
think one of them is seriously
you
he
gotta sit
lost his
down
wallet.
you gotta sit down and have steak with like one of your characters and just kind of talk. And you're just like, dude, the world's ending. We need to do some stuff. But yeah,
No, see,
losing your
I,
wallet on
in
the
that regard,
Citadel or something, yeah.
I really did like the like just chilling with Garrus or whatever, like shooting sniper rifles and just being like, this is probably the last time we're gonna see each other, sort of talk. Like, I really liked that stuff, and that was fine. It was the wallet stuff and the fact that it was like it feels like you're building up this thing, but the pacing of it's very wrong. Whereas the loyalty missions felt right. Like it was like you meet all these people, then something you find out what happened, something catastrophic happens, and now these people you just met, you somehow have to get their loyalty so you can do this stupid, batshit insane thing to try to save everybody because like they don't trust you or whatever, or they have alternative motives that they want you to look at, blah blah blah. I feel they did it very good in 2. And in 3 it felt like there was no reason to do this because we know all the players, we know all this stuff, so now what we have to do is get full nations of people on our side, and to do that
Yeah.
it's a long drawn out process of bullshit that I don't really care about, so it's kind of shitty.
Well, I would say there's just kind of really hit and miss ones. Like some of them are like, oh my god, like we actually solved the genophage problem. Like this is pretty
Yes.
intense. Or like
Yeah,
the
sure.
like even though I didn't like how it played out in mine, like we're gonna finally like force the Quarians and the Geth to kind of confront that issue that's been lingering over the whole series. Like there's kind of just a series of payoffs, and some of them are great, and some of them kind of fall a little flat.
As a
And
side
like,
note to that, wasn't
yeah,
there a? Am I imagining this, or did this happen? Like, sorry, spoilers or something. But if you haven't played it, you don't
it's like
care enough to play it.
2, 3 years
At this
ago.
point.
Yeah, yeah,
With the Quarians and the Geth thing, if
yeah.
you like side with the Geth, remind me if this happens because I think it does. Talazora leaves you, goes out into like the desert, and blows her brains out.
She did. I forget how it happened, but she did kill herself, and I was like,
Right,
that is so out of character for my tally that I have
right.
had in my party this whole time. And yeah, like I could see that as being like a thing that could be a sticking point for someone to be like, man, they fucked up this ending. But personally, it was weird. It was like the ending worked out for me because like the characters I cared about the most were treated with enough like were treated in a way that I felt was consistent that I was okay with it, even though I was like, yeah, that was really stupid what happened with Tally, but she was never one of my favorite characters anyway. Whatever. Like I was just kind of let it roll off my back. Whereas
Well,
like Morden
yeah, I
gets a
just
good
thought it was
moment.
weird more than anything. Morden's
Grunt
moment
gets a
is
crazy good moment. Like there's
and
there's some
and they fit their
stuff.
personalities where Morden actually felt bad about like what went on and he did the ultimate sacrifice for
Yeah.
for
Like correct this
their people.
weird mistake he made, like this
Right.
genocidal thing. Yeah, it was pretty
And
awesome.
Grunt's thing was just like I
Badass
killed
Klingon moment.
everything.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
just
like
like
I'm dying in battle sort of thing.
yeah,
Like get
like
out.
there was some
Get out, Shepard.
good payoff stuff with the characters, but yeah, like Tally did not get that in mine, and that was kind of dumb. But it wasn't a game ender. Like it didn't ruin everything. And I felt like it was weird. It was one of those things where like the mechanical side of it was easily the best one. So I was able to overlook a lot of just like, man, the combat's actually like really good. Like not just like, oh,
Yes.
it's not horrible. It's actually really
Yes.
fun. So this is
Oh,
amazing.
the whole
So
Asari thing I didn't like in that either.
mhm.
I didn't like going to like the Asari Academy and all that part. Like there anyways, long story short, basically the thing that people were in contention most about with that game in the days after it came out, where they
Yeah.
were freaking out about the ending and they saw that I had liked it and they just sent me emails calling me a faggot and that I should probably kill myself because my opinion's wrong about everything. Like it was so bad. And
That's
yeah.
I mean, like I guess I almost just autocorrect statements like that to just be like, no one could have really said that. Like Paul's being hyperbolic about how ridiculous people speak, but I'm assuming like that's what happened, and that's so dumb to me. Like that's just
Yeah.
misusing words almost. Like it's just like I don't. Are you sure you're saying what you mean? Because I think what you really mean is like, ah, I love this video game series so much that I was disappointed with the way they wrote this final chapter. It didn't satisfy all my emotional, like like it's just like how do you have like murderous rage over any story
I don't
being
know.
told?
I
Like it's
honestly don't know.
like it's like oh I was reading the Stephen King like Tower series and then the last one wasn't very good. Like who gets like murderous over something like that? Or it's just like the
I don't.
lost finale. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw bottles at J.J. Abrams' house. Like did someone do that? No, probably not. Because who would do that?
I guess
Crazy.
long story short, if anybody wanted to read that review, you can look in the Burning Barrel. I've archived it there, even though because the site it was on went under, like
Oh,
it's
okay.
gone off the internet. So
Yeah.
what, like I knew in its dying days that that was going to happen. So I grabbed everything that I wrote for it and put it as a portfolio archive on Pixel Response at the time, which is now Burning Barrel, which you know about if you're listening to this. Anyways, it's on there and you'll see that I actually removed the number score, so people have to actually read what I say about
There you
it
go.
now. So
And yeah, just don't get super mad about it. Just man, it
about
just doesn't
dumb
really
shit.
matter. Well,
About
like I
dumb
mean,
shit.
about good stuff. Like it's like no, you can have a passionate discussion about a video game you both liked or didn't like, or one of you liked and the other didn't. But why would you just immediately just make everything you have to say sound crazy by saying like, "Oh, I hate you so much, you're the worst," and using words like faggot? You can't use that word anymore.
That
You can't use
okay,
it.
but like that was a few years ago. That anyways, it doesn't matter. You should never call me a faggot because for one thing, I'm not, and it's not an insult. Like I wish I was gay. It would be
I mean, that
a
Louis
lot easier
episode came out
sometimes.
like 3 years ago, dude. People should have figured this out, man.
Right.
It solved everything. So watch more Louis. And don't hate me for saying that. Don't be so mad that I told you to watch Louis.
Die in a fire, faggot. There.
Oh man, but it's
I
just
just
a fun
spoke for
show.
the
It's funny
I just
and
spoke
sad.
for the actually the internet loves Louis, so they'd be like, "Yeah, man, happy face," or something.
There you go.
I don't know what people say when they're being supportive because it didn't happen when I was writing for that site, unfortunately, ever. There's so much hatred on the internet. Holy shit. Anyways, I'm gonna
a little bit less. Farewell, Joan Rivers.
Yeah, pour one out. Joan Rivers goes in the barrel.
I mean, Spaceballs was okay. So
I feel so fucking bad about saying that for some reason. I don't know. I've never cared about her. Anyways, I wanted to since
like
brought up.
she insulted Adele, so
I like
I'm
Adele.
assuming. I know you do,
So-
so like don't feel too bad about saying Joan Rivers is no good.
I don't feel bad
matter.
about anything I say anymore because I should die in a fire since I'm a faggot for liking the ending of
Mass Effect 3. Yeah, clearly. Hey, if you want to write us some questions about stuff,
I was gonna say quickly on the site though.
Yeah.
That choice and death, squeeze that fruit by I am 3D Homer. That went up.
Mhm.
That
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I went through that.
That's pretty thought provoking. Like you were saying, a little inside baseball. You kind of have to know some of the games he's talking about to like
specifically
really
a lot of Walking Dead talk and some choice based games. But
which is fine,
if you've
though.
played those, there's some
You're
some
good.
stuff in there. And there's a
and
new
if you
game.
haven't, maybe you should try it anyway.
Try those games or try reading it.
No, like you should try those games maybe if you want like a basis of what he's talking about. Anyways,
Yeah,
I thought it was well written. The problem it took me so long to like get to it, and eventually I pawned it off on you, is because of obviously the stuff I've been talking about has been taking up my time these last 2 weeks, and it's like a fucking thesis essay worth of writing in there. So I read it in my spare time here and there, and I really enjoyed it, but I couldn't get to like editing it and looking for typos. It's on the site right now. You should check it out. It talks a lot about Gods Will Be Watching, which is actually a pretty fantastic game, even though I'm super bad at it.
Okay.
But I don't know if you can be good at the game so much as you kind of have to get lucky and know the patterns that you need to follow. So maybe I just have to play it more until I get to that point. I don't know.
Deconstruct Team.
What?
Deconstruct Team made Gods Will Be Watching. There's like a browser version. But yeah.
Ah, okay.
Check it out on the internet. And yeah,
It is
all
on the
that and
internet.
more on burningbarrel.co.
Where can people write in? Oh, right. I forgot. Podcast at burningbarrel.co. Follow us on Twitter. Nathan's at Krasner, KRAZNOR. I'm at Exposure, EXFAUXSURE. That is it for right now. Hopefully we won't take another 2-week to month hiatus, but you never know since we work together. As always, it's been nice talking to you people listening out there. Just
That's
be
Raw
good.
Sopranos, that ending. Oh.
Be good to each other. Bye.
Like, it's all like, don't stop. And that's the end of the show. It's crazy.